Welcome in. It is a Thursday morning, and it is NFL schedule release day, Johnny. You feeling good for tomorrow? W's and L's day?
No, I'm really not, but I'm feeling good for today.
I don't hear any colds coming on. You haven't complained about any tummy aches?
I'm going to play Ron Jaworski's Downingtown this afternoon, and
okay.
I heard there's a lot of pollen on the course, so I might get that later on today.
All right, well, you let me know.
Depending.
If not, then I'll have you text in your W's and L's tomorrow.
Depending on what happens. Well, we're going to play a little game later on.
Yes, we will. John Kincade wants to play his own version of W's and L's, and we don't even have the schedule out yet.
And it's a much more intriguing way to play it, and it has much more substance to it than the nonsense of picking W's and L's for games.
Says you, man.
In freaking May.
Hey, look, all I know is I'm always right about my W's
using
and L's.
expertise.
We all knew that the Eagles were going to lose in the first round of the playoffs last year.
Yeah, we knew that.
All right, we will unpack some more of the schedule leaks that happened throughout the course of the day yesterday. But, Johnny, what also happened throughout the course of the day yesterday showed me that, and I say this respectfully, all right, I hope you understand that there are still a lot of people that don't know how NBA contracts work.
Are you surprised by that?
No, because it's freaking confusing.
It is confusing. It's really, really confusing.
And that's why I say it respectfully. So remember our man Bobby Marks, we had him on earlier this week, but we had Bobby Marks on, who is a former executive in the NBA. He is the lead NBA insider for ESPN. He breaks down trades, he breaks down contracts, all that stuff.
And he does a great job at it.
We had him on right around the trade deadline, and he said, look, it is still confusing for me to explain some of the things, like the second apron, which is something that the NBA recently added in there to try to avoid having dynasties in the NBA. The second apron is still something that I think people are trying to educate themselves, even people in the NBA. There is something going on right now about this upcoming NBA draft that's going to look differently. Teams are realizing that they don't want to trade draft picks anymore for superstars because eventually that's going to hurt their cap. So the NBA is kind of changing before our own eyes in terms of how teams are going to try to build. It's why Daryl Morey ultimately got fired, because Daryl Morey set this team up with these three contracts. Maxey, nobody's complaining about. Embiid and George, though, these max contracts that other teams just aren't doing. The NBA kind of escaped Daryl Morey's plan recently.
Correct.
And that's why he got fired.
He did not. No one can say that Daryl Morey was a visionary.
No.
And that is a problem. That's one thing. He did do some things well. He drafted well and everything. We talked about those things.
That's why we said it's complex to react to Morey. It's not just so quick to, let's celebrate that he got fired.
But nobody is going to ever be able to say that he was a visionary in his job.
No, he's screwed up with these contracts, and that's why he is no longer the president of basketball operations for the Philadelphia 76ers. And so yesterday, John, I brought this up on the air. There was a story from Jake Fisher, who does a really good job covering the NBA.
He does.
He's a local guy, but he's now a national writer. And Jake Fisher wrote up of a potential Embiid trade, what a trade of Joel Embiid might look like.
Okay.
And people lost their minds because they did not like seeing who the player was that would be in return. And that was Domantas Sabonis, who is a forward, and he plays for the Sacramento Kings. And if you just read the replies, John, this guy stinks. Why would they do this? He played less games than Joel Embiid. This would be a horrible trade, blah, 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 blah.
I saw all of it, and I saw you losing your mind. As we were talking, you losing your mind over it. And I'm just saying, look, you got to understand. You got to understand what people do not understand.
Yeah.
And it's easy to understand why people don't understand it, because the NBA the NBA complicates everything.
Max contracts, mid-level exemptions, vet minimums, rookie contracts that are guaranteed.
You can't just do trade talk about NBA because the NBA makes everything really complex.
There's a reason why ESPN has a website that gets frequently checked out, NBA Trade Machine.
Because it's really hard.
Because you have to make the money work. And people were having a tough time either coming to terms with that yesterday or they just didn't know it, so they were being a-holes online saying, you don't know basketball if you think this is a good trade. So, John, I wanted to do something today.
Okay.
Before the show, I went into our back studio and I recorded something because I never want to waste anybody's time, and I try to be as efficient as possible with people's time, especially when it comes to educating people on things they don't know about when it comes to sports. And I'm saying that again as respectfully as possible.
Okay, now, okay, tell me why. All right, go on.
Because if we're going to have the trade Joel Embiid talk, it has to be real. Like, we can't do trade Joel Embiid for Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Giannis, man. They'd want Giannis.
It can't be trade Joel Embiid for, like, these three young rising players that I really like, and then you don't realize just how much that does not work because of the finances behind it.
Exactly.
So
That's good.
So I put on my professor cap today, John.
Really? But
Yes.
I'm the professor. But are you trying to slide in there and be a professor?
Okay. Yeah, I'm trying
That's
to
good.
walk on your
that.
territory.
You can do that.
So this is a couple of minutes explaining how a trade of Joel Embiid will actually go down if they do indeed do it. And the reason why I say if they do indeed do it, because a lot of you out there realize that that may not be the best thing for your wants. The people that were very emotional about trading Joel Embiid, and look, I got there for the first time. I joined John Kincade, brothers in arm.
It took forever.
It took forever.
Welcome to the show. I'm glad you finally did it.
But I have an understanding of how this works. There were a lot of people that wanted to trade Joel Embiid, and then they realized how it might go down, and they lost their minds. And then a lot of people pivoted yesterday online.
Pivot.
And said, well, then they might as well keep him.
Okay.
And that's where
basketball.
that's where this is going to get really interesting. So Austin, who is in for Connor today, I put it in the system. This is what I hope is a master's class by an adjunct professor on how a potential trade of Joel Embiid will go down. Welcome into NBA Cap Class. I am your professor, Andrew Salciunas, and today's goal is to explain to you what a trade of Joel Embiid will look like for the Philadelphia 76ers.
Okay.
Because yesterday on social media, I saw people up in arms about the potential packages that could go down. Let's start with eliminating something first and foremost. Joel Embiid is not landing you a superstar. You're not getting into the Giannis sweepstakes for Joel Embiid. If the Clippers do decide to trade Kawhi Leonard, the Sixers are not getting Kawhi Leonard in a trade of Joel Embiid. That's not how this is going to go down. How this is going to go down is ultimately just eliminating the contract by a year or two for the Sixers. So this is where the class ultimately gets in session. What people are not realizing is that you have to make the finances work. This trade situation in the NBA is not the same as Major League Baseball or the NFL or the NHL. It's not like the Phillies, who are already in the luxury tax in Major League Baseball, who can make a trade for Juan Soto and pick up his contract and not have to move anybody else. No, in the NBA, you have to make the money work. Joel Embiid has 3 years left on his contract. The extension kicks in this upcoming season, and he's due $57 million. So, just to educate you a little bit, if you do not know this already, Joel Embiid cannot be traded to a team for three young players in return that accumulate $15 to $20 million. That's not going to work. That's not how these trades work. Embiid and his bad contract, that we all agree is a bad contract, is going to land you another player with a bad contract. And this is when people were up in arms. The number one example that's circulating right now is Joel Embiid going to Sacramento, and in return you get Domantas Sabonis. People were freaking out online this week because they think the Sixers are talking about the player that is Domantas Sabonis. You have to get that out of your head. You're not trading for Sabonis, the player, to help you win a championship in 2027 or in 2028. You're trading for his contract that has 2 years left. So if you trade Embiid to Sacramento for Sabonis, it's to eliminate 1 year from the contract. Instead of 3 years left of Embiid, you have 2 years left of Sabonis. The other option that's being floated out there is Joel Embiid to Golden State. Golden State wants to go for one last run with Steve Kerr and Steph Curry. So Embiid goes to Golden State. In return, you get Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler is broken. Jimmy Butler is not coming here to help you win a championship. The goal of getting Jimmy Butler is to eliminate the contract by 2 years because Jimmy Butler only has 1 year left on his contract. That means you enter the 2027-28 season with a max slot available that you can use in free agency or do a sign and trade elsewhere, much like the Sixers did with the Heat all those years ago, sending Jimmy Butler to Miami. So if you trade Joel Embiid to Golden State, you're getting 1 year of Butler in return. The problem for a lot of people is the Sixers will most likely have to throw in a sweetener, and let's just use this upcoming NBA draft's first-round pick for the example. Embiid and the first-round pick that you have via Houston to Golden State for 1 year of Jimmy Butler's contract. It's not 1 year of Jimmy Butler, the player. It's eliminating Embiid's contract by 2 years. Again, Joel Embiid being traded is not to land you a player that's going to win you a championship next year. You're going to have a mini tank or a step back season and just watch the young guys grow and Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe by another year. So here are your options as of this morning. Embiid to Sacramento for 2 years of Sabonis, and it's a pretty even trade. Embiid to Golden State for 1 year of Jimmy Butler, but you're going to have to throw in the sweetener of potentially a first-round pick. Or lastly, you just keep Embiid all together and you try to make it work again. And I saw a lot of you on social media saying that yesterday. So tell us, what is it that you want to do? All right, Johnny, was that educational enough?
I think that was perfectly educational and understandable. And again, you're just trying to say we got to have legitimate conversations about the Joel Embiid movement. We cannot have pie in the sky, ridiculous conversations about Embiid. And I had two, and I'm laughing. I'm going through emails from yesterday here while you're doing that as I'm listening to you. And we had two people saying, you guys are so dismissive. Why wouldn't Milwaukee consider Embiid? You got people doing this. It's just this.
By the way,
they would have the Milwaukee Bucks yesterday, and I'm stealing this from NBA Live. There are 17 teams that could fit Giannis.
Yes.
Where do you believe the Sixers would come up with one of the most attractive packages if Joel Embiid's the lead thing?
It wouldn't be Embiid.
Like, seriously.
It would be Maxey or it would be VJ Edgecombe.
Exactly. They're not getting rid of Giannis and get for Embiid. And you got people going, you guys are being very dismissive. I think that they'd absolutely consider Embiid. And I'm like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
We got to have legitimate conversation.
And the reason why I wanted to put out that sort of educational class, I got a tweet from Marquise yesterday. If you think Sabonis is anchoring a championship-level defense, you're smoking crack.
He's not.
It's not for Sabonis. It's for his contract.
It's for freedom.
Dude, my mentions were on fire yesterday.
Oh, no, it was crazy.
But what's amazing,
I got tired. You told me, like, go check the mentions. I checked the mentions. I read 7 or 8. And I said, okay, nobody understands how this works.
So that's like where it gets interesting.
And by the way, that's the NBA's fault.
It is. It's hard.
The NBA has a terrible system that you need a PhD.
Yeah.
I'm not ripping people for not understanding it, but the thing is, you got to understand what you don't. It's my job as a person to understand what I don't understand.
Right.
You got to understand what you don't understand.
So this is where it gets interesting.
Okay.
And I can't wait. Like, I actually was really excited for this show today, John. Like, I was tired this morning, then I remembered what we were doing.
Okay.
And I popped up out of bed.
Really?
I can't wait to see how much people may shift their tune a little bit.
All right.
So the number, as you guys know, 610-632-0975. You heard the 3 options that were mentioned in that class. You know, I recorded the class because some kids were out sick, so I sent it.
That's ridiculous. Let them catch up on their own work.
So I sent it to the kids that were home sick.
Sick.
You trade Joel Embiid to Sacramento for Domantas Sabonis, and it's a pretty much straight up deal. I'm sure there'll be a couple other players thrown in there of expiring contracts, right? The goal is to eliminate 1 year of Joel Embiid's contract from 3 to 2. Or you trade Joel Embiid to Golden State for Jimmy Butler, and you drop the contract from 3 years to 1, but you're adding a first-round pick. Like, Golden State's not just going to be like, yeah,
oh,
sure.
no, we're all into that.
We want 3 years of Embiid and you guys can have 1 year of Jimmy Butler, that expiring contract, and that max slot goes away. Like, no, you're going to have to throw in a first-round pick to make that happen.
Correct. There's something you got to do to make that happen.
When I was explaining that to people yesterday online, the amount of, well, then I guess they should just keep Embiid responses that I got.
Well, you know why? You know why they're getting that?
Why?
Ray Dunn.
What did Ray Dunn do?
I blame Ray Dunn. Because that's what Ray Dunn's doing. Ray Dunn's one of the last people in the cult tent.
I've heard it with my own ears.
You heard it too.
Really?
Yes. Ray Dunn's in the cult tent.
Saying that,
Ray Dunn,
that they can win?
No. But Ray won't leave the cult. Ray will not leave the cult. He refuses. He knows that the feds are coming in. He will not leave the cult. They're on the bullhorns. They're saying exit the building, and Ray will not leave. He is like, well, why wouldn't we just keep him? Why wouldn't we just keep him? We're going to be a terrible team. Like, if we're going to be a terrible team, why wouldn't we just keep Embiid and be a terrible team?
Ding.
That is what Ray was fighting. Now he's fighting the good fight because Ray knows how to debate well, and I think he was doing. I was honestly saying to myself, bang the head on the steering wheel, saying, Ray, you're being part of the problem, not part of the solution. It's time to put your childhood devotion of Joel Embiid and the stupid-ass process to bed. Put it to bed.
Or it's the
forever.
Or it's
done.
The fear of another process.
Guess what?
I had one guy.
No, I can't have that. Because Ray Dunn didn't fear the process.
Right.
You didn't fear the process.
No.
So I can't hear from any one of you that you fear a process.
I don't. Look. If you
guys celebrated it like it was some bright, incredible. Oh my gosh! Isn't this brilliant strategy?
Well, it was a brilliant strategy.
Not. No,
it's
it was
worked
not.
for Oklahoma City.
It wasn't. No, it did not. It was 2 years.
We don't have to have that.
We do it. It was 2 years. It was not the same thing. It was ridiculous. They were 2 years bad.
Well, by the way,
teams are 2 years bad all the time.
Well, if you trade Joel Embiid, you're going to be 2 years bad.
Yeah, but the thing is, that's not a process. That's not the process. What the Sixers did was keep trading away and try to be as terrible for an extended period of time. Completely different. That was not what Oklahoma City did.
So I saw there's this guy, Mikey Mack, who's just so kind on social media, and I've been talking to him for years.
Okay.
And, at one point he was so lost in the argument because he doesn't know how things work. He said, you just want them to lose. You hate the Sixers. Something like that. And I'm like, do you know who you are talking to? I don't want the Sixers to lose. But what we know, all right, I know this. I think I can speak for fact, and man, John Kincaid's going to be so proud of me because he's been saying it for years. They're not going to win a championship with Joel Embiid. All right, they're not going to win a championship with Joel Embiid.
Is it 2023?
Breaking news sounder.
Is it 2023? No, it's 2026. Okay, you finally got here, but I'm glad you're here.
So, Mike,
I'm sorry it took so long because we could have been contending for something in 2026 if you had listened back then, but it's all right.
So people are saying, well, then that means they're just going to not be so good next year.
Yes.
And guys, are they so good now?
Is there any way, is there any dream, is there any scenario where somebody's going to try to spin to me that the Sixers can win a championship with Joel Embiid?
Somebody might.
If you spin it, you are a fool. You are a blatant fool. You know the data. The guy can't play 35 games. It's been 3 years. He can't average 35 games. Stop it now.
Yeah.
Stop. Like, we can't do this.
So here's the deal. For today's discussion, the three options that we have talked about are the three options. We can't do the whole, like we had a guy texting in yesterday, package Embiid and George and send them here and then get this and get that.
Embiid and George. So someone's going to take Embiid and George contracts?
Minnesota's taking on both players.
That's incredible. I mean, that's sign me up.
We have your three options, and we are going to put out a poll on this. Dr. Avidan Appel, Iron Mountain Men's Health. Embiid for Sabonis. You subtract 1 year of the contract. Embiid and a first-round pick for Jimmy Butler. You subtract 2 years of the contract.
Oh, man.
Or you just keep Joel Embiid. There are a lot of you out there that did not like the packages, so you just want to keep Embiid.
It's incredible.
All the emotion that you showed on Monday and Tuesday about fire this guy, trade that guy, blow it up. I don't want to see this team compete anymore. You quickly changed your mind as soon as you saw what the return would be. By the way, I'm pro the Jimmy Butler one. End this as quick as possible. I would package a first-round pick and Embiid to subtract 2 years off of this deal.
I absolutely would.
What would you do? 610-632-0975. That's the number that you could call in, text in, Davis Honda text line. You can leave a voice memo as well. I promise it's not just going to be all Sixers today. It is scheduled release day today,
Can't
Johnny.
wait.
We have more whispers of some games. We know some of that are official, some that are whispers, but what we do know is the amount of miles the Eagles will have to travel. It's a big number, but does it matter?
No.
It's Kincade and Salciunas. Your reaction on this Embiid trade talk coming up next here on The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Time for change. I'm Austin Jones with your Fanatic Sports Update. The 76ers made the decision to relieve President of Basketball Operations Daryl Morey, and one major issue with the team over the years has been culture. From what we've been hearing, Tony Jones from The Athletic joined Kincade Salciunas yesterday and stayed part on regards to this team having some culture issues.
You have to be as much on the same page as possible, and I think it was clear that not everybody has been on the same page, at least this year. So, the new hire that comes in is going to definitely have to deal with that.
Bob Myers and owner Josh Harris are set to speak to the media today at 4 o'clock in regards to firing Daryl Morey. You can catch that press conference right here on Unfiltered on 97.5 The Fanatic. Up in Boston, the Phillies fell to the Red Sox 3-1 as Kyle Schwarber didn't extend his home run streak. Instead, it was Boston's Cedar Rafael's pinch-hit 2-run home run that lifted the Sox to the win. Today is a battle of old friends. Jesus Luzardo toes the rubber versus former Philly fan favorite Ranger Suarez. First pitch is going to be set for 6:45. And in the NFL today, the schedule release is going to be out at 8 p.m. today. You can catch that on ESPN or NFL Network. As of right now, we know the Eagles are going to play in London and on Thanksgiving. Andrew DeCecco checks in with us later on in the show. I'm Austin Jones, your home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union, 97.5 The Fanatic and The Fanatic app.
This hour of Kincade Salciunas is presented by Bradford White Water Heaters. Bradford White, they're here for the pro.
All right, 6:30 here on Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. All right. What's your rule in class? You are an actual professor. I'm just playing one on the radio today.
Yeah.
When somebody doesn't pay attention in class, what do you do?
No, some of my students work here. I tell them, I literally will just call them out.
Okay.
I'll say, something more important? Yo, Andrew, what's going on? What's it? Because phones. We do phones on the here. The phones are
phones down
on the thing. Phones are down.
Hell yeah,
and that's what it is.
So I guess I'll then call out Easy Work 215. Appreciate you watching and listening and commenting.
Appreciate it. But what's Easy Work done?
Sabonis is broken too. Sabonis is recovering from back and knee surgery.
That's the idea.
But that's
the whole point.
You're not. I will say
that was your class.
Again.
That was your class.
You are not trading for Domantas Sabonis, the player, the abilities that he has, the injury. You're not trading for Domantas Sabonis to win you a championship. The purpose of making that deal with Sacramento is quite simply eliminating 1 year from the contract.
That's it. That was your class lecture, so he must have overslept class.
And that's okay.
You overslept class, though.
I'm a very lenient professor.
Yeah, you are. I'd be a little worried about that with you. Everybody getting an A. Everybody getting a high A.
You guys showed up. Participation at Trophy Award.
Exactly.
All right. So, again, your three options, and I know we'll have a poll up and running on 97.5 The Fanatic's Twitter account. Embiid to Sacramento for Domantas Sabonis. It eliminates a year of the contract. Embiid in a first to Jimmy Butler, or to the Golden State Warriors for Jimmy Butler, who has 1 year left on his deal. The reason why you're adding a first is because you're now taking 2 years off of the bad contract. We all agree it's a bad contract,
Horrible
right?
contract.
Nobody is saying that the Joel Embiid contract is good. I know that there are people that are delusional that think Embiid's going to land you Giannis. That's not happening. But if we all agree... By
the way, only one email this morning already from someone saying, again, that they believe the Giannis... Why wouldn't the Bucks be thinking the same thing about Giannis for Embiid?
It's not happening.
He's often injured. It's the same situation. You guys are making no sense.
By the way, the day the Milwaukee Bucks said that they are open to trading Giannis, Shams reported 10 teams that were already in the mix.
Nobody is calling for Joel Embiid.
He mentioned the New York Knicks being one of them.
Yeah, nobody's calling for Joel.
The team that's been sitting on their asses for a week now because they swept the Sixers and are about to play in the Eastern Conference Finals, that team is in on Giannis Antetokounmpo. That team has more players of value than Joel Embiid at this stage of his career and the contract that is attached to him.
If the Sixers said today we're open to trading Joel Embiid, the Sixers phone would not be ringing off the hook. Bottom line.
So let's take a call here because I'm really curious because already they don't like the packages. They want to trade Embiid, but they don't like the packages that were talked about. Let's go to Dante in West Philly. What's up, Dante?
What's up, fellas? How y'all doing?
What's going on,
Good,
Dante?
All right, listen, I think we need to add another option, to the poll.
Okay.
I'm not opposed to trading Embiid. But again, like I said on Monday, we keep looking at the wrong person right now. We should be looking to trade Paul George because he can bring you in a better value package back to the Sixers.
So let me explain why we're doing the Embiid thing. In fairness, you may not have seen this yesterday. Speaking of polls, we ran a poll yesterday where we asked our audience, what is the first order of business for the new president of basketball operations to try to do? And 70% of people voted trade Embiid. 22 voted for Paul George. 8% said run it back. So the reason why we're having the Embiid discussion is clearly yesterday the majority of people wanted to trade Joel Embiid. I get what you're saying about Paul George, though.
Okay, and because Embiid is the big name and the fancy name, and he's the name that everybody's been hearing. But
and he's the name that people are tired of hearing because it's been 10 years.
But Andrew, you're talking about bringing back Butler. You're talking about making the locker room more chaotic. Bringing back Butler. Let's not forget what he did in Minnesota. But let me get to my point. If we trade Paul George because he could bring back more value, keep Embiid for 1 year, Either you trade him at the deadline in the middle of the year, or you trade him in the offseason, and then if you get a bag of balls, you get a bag of balls. But right now, everybody knows you want to get rid of Embiid. It's just like the Phillies with the third baseman. Everybody knows they want to get rid of him. That's why they can't get rid of him. They can't get good value for him.
No, that's not the
Yeah,
reason.
John.
Nobody wants Embiid. That's the reason you can't get rid of him, because he has no
That's why you keep him
value.
for another year, John. That's why you keep him and you see what you can get.
No, because
out
he's going to have
after that.
less value next year.
John, he doesn't have no value this year.
He's going to. Somebody potentially could make a deal
John,
from
stop
him.
saying somebody. It's not going to be who? The Nets? Sacramento? Nobody's trading for him.
Somebody is going to make a deal for him potentially.
By the way, Sacramento, again, the
Yeah,
reason
there
why.
are other teams that are in bad
The
situations.
reason why Sacramento would do the deal is because they don't like their current situation
Correct.
with Sabonis.
They're in a bad deal. The reason nobody's calling about Embiid is because he has no value. So you don't keep him another year wishing and hoping. This isn't My Little Ponies. We're not wishing. We're not on wish fairies.
By the
We're
way-
not like wishing and hoping that next year Embiid's going to have a great year and then he'll really be marketable. No, we can't do this again.
By the way, the same thing
Was
with
that Ray Dunn?
the same thing with Sabonis goes with Butler. You're not trading for Jimmy Butler, the player. You're trading for the fact that he has 1 year left on his contract. He might not even be available to start the season because of his torn ACL.
By the way, I have a feeling if you sign Jimmy Butler, if you get Jimmy Butler here, I think Jimmy Butler wouldn't want to be here.
Probably not.
And I think Jimmy Butler, you may end up having to,
Trade him, too. And that's
Trade him off.
That's happened. It's
you might
happened.
end up having to do that. Like, he wouldn't want to be here. So
Or he just sits the year and recovers and then tries to come back for
I
age
don't know.
38 as a
Yeah,
free agent.
exactly.
All right. We'll check the poll
Or
here.
saving for the trade deadline, maybe?
Yeah.
I don't know.
We'll check the poll here in a moment. But some more NFL schedule stuff coming out yesterday. We know that the Eagles are playing Thanksgiving against the Dallas Cowboys. We know that in Week 5, they will be traveling to London to take on the Jags. You put it out so astutely that after the travel to London, they will have a bye week.
Yeah, everybody who travels to London gets the bye week after. So you'd say bye week 6, so the weekend of the 18th of October. So before Thanksgiving, before Halloween, guys, you're going to have that pumpkin patch weekend.
Yep.
So you can plan your dad of the year fall activities. That's when you go to the pumpkin patch. That's when you say, so now you tell your wife after tonight, you tell your wife that's the weekend. Make the plans for that weekend.
You're a genius, John.
And then you look like dad of the year because you're being proactive.
Yep.
You're putting it on the calendar. She doesn't even have to know that the Eagles' schedule came out.
Yeah. Just say, hey, look,
She's thinking
I planned something.
You're being proactive. By the way, Saturday the 17th, we're going to the pumpkin
Look
patch.
at that. You already got it locked
And she
in.
thinks, God, you're husband of the year.
So
There you go.
those are the two official ones because of the Thanksgiving. They already announced that, and obviously the travel to London. That's why those two are official. There's two that are being reported, and you really trust.
I trust.
the report.
One, Ryan with NBC Sports Philadelphia says Monday night, Week 3 at the Bears. Bears morning show. One of the stations that has the Bears coverage also says that they are of the belief that Week 3 will be Eagles at the Bears.
So Black Friday last year in Philadelphia, this year Monday Night Football in
Eagles
Chicago.
at the Bears is what they have Week 3. Now, if that is the case, and if that ends up being true, you can do the math here and connect the dots. Week 1, Temple plays Penn State. So the Week 1 of the season, is September the 13th. So that is the first Sunday. September the 12th, the Phillies play Penn State. Temple's plays Penn State at Lincoln Financial Field. I do not believe the Eagles will play their season opener after Temple Penn State.
So you think Week 1 on the road somewhere.
Or unless and I don't believe it'll be a Monday night because they're playing Monday night Week 3. So I do believe it's going to be on the road, which would then tell you if they're playing on the road Week 3, you cannot open the season with 3 consecutive road games.
So you think home game Week 2.
Home game Week 2, home opener Week 2.
Look at you reading the tea leaves here. By the way, another game that's reported, Week 8 Sunday Night Football against the Commanders.
November 1st. That has already been that's confirmed.
That is confirmed?
Yeah,
All
well,
right.
NFL.
And that's
NFL,
at the Commanders.
NFL Network people are saying it.
Josh Harris will be there.
So, yeah. Oh, he'll be there. And he'll be wearing, again, He'll be wearing Commanders gear,
He'll be there.
which pisses me off
Maybe we'll have a Sixers pin.
because he doesn't wear Sixers stuff, but he wears Commanders stuff. The man incessantly bothers me
Now that we know
for
that
a variety of reasons.
Now that we know they're traveling to London and that is official, regardless of how the schedule breaks down, we know the amount of miles that the Eagles will travel. John, you're the as you call yourself, nerd boy.
Dork.
How much
Or dork,
how
whatever
much
you-
does this truly matter?
I don't think it matters at all.
Okay.
I really don't. I think the Eagles' schedule has a chance to break out really, really well.
By the way, they have the 9th most travel miles on the books this year. In the
They
NFL.
do, and everyone's going to talk about that, and you're going to be like, "Wow, that doesn't sound good with travel." But here's the thing you got to worry about, or you got to think about, is they're going to travel to London the beginning of October. So the London trip, and then they have the bye week after. So to me, throw out travel being an issue there. There's no problem when you have the bye week afterwards, and you can adjust your schedule. So, and Jacksonville will also be traveling from the States to London since they play the first weekend. Jacksonville's going to play back-to-back games in London, but the first game they play in London is the Eagles game. So there will be no rest advantage or anything like that, time adjustment advantage for Jacksonville. So the first week, the Jacksonville game, there's no advantage on the travel for their opponent. The only other two games that you have significant travel are San Francisco and Arizona. Arizona's going to be a dumpster fire.
Yeah.
Of a team.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And they are stripping it down. Jacoby Brissett will be their quarterback to start at the very
Why it's
least.
stupid to draft a running back with a top 5 pick when your team stinks.
And, well, they didn't like the quarterbacks, and I think they said to themselves, next year's the quarterback draft, we're going to be bad.
So Jeremiah Love will be broken.
So
next
we'll go
year.
get the quarterback. And then San Francisco. My guess is as long as they block those trips out, which I'm going to guess, I'm going to predict San Francisco's later and Arizona's earlier. And as long as they block out those trips, the travel for the Eagles is nothing.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing.
All right. Beautiful.
It'll be fine.
Look at that.
Two West Coast trips, but it's not going to be two Western trips, but it's
Johnny
not gonna
Travel Guide over
Not
here.
a problem.
All right, coming up next, you're going to have a problem with it.
Uh-oh.
I am already seeing the responses on the poll.
Oh, boy.
And I'm telling you, John, people are going to talk themselves into it again.
Well, Ray Dunn is to blame.
I'm telling you, dude, people do not like the packages because they don't realize just how bad Embiid's contract is.
Oh, my gosh.
We'll tell you what's going on next. Oh, I knew I was going to be excited for today's show in a twisted way. It's
You're all
Kincade
twisted.
Salciunas 97.5 The Fanatic.
Should a cancer diagnosis come into your family or your life, go visit the consultants in medical oncology and hematology. Let Dr. John Sprandio, whether it's senior or junior, have the opportunity to give you their message, their opportunity to consult with you, their opportunity to introduce you to their team, because they offer you quick consultations, clear communication, and more importantly, an individualized plan with an independent practice that allows you to move amongst healthcare practices all across the area. They work with hospitals all across the area to give you seamless care, and I can tell you they would schedule all my appointments for me. They made it so easy. I got to know not only their nurses, but their doctors, but also their office staff. They're the most tremendous people, and they took the stress off of a very stressful situation. There are so many things I can tell you to go buy or so many things that I recommend, but how about saving your life? I'm here today because of the consultants in medical oncology and hematology. There is no question. I tell you to visit cmoh.org if you get that cancer diagnosis. Trust Dr. Sprandio and their amazing team, and please tell them that John Kincade sent you.
Inside the
All right, it is 6:48 here on Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. It is so twisted how much I looked forward to today's show. Just reading our YouTube comments, there's infighting right now. There are people calling each other doofus and idiot.
Are you kidding me?
Like, let's all be
Let's
kind
not do
here.
that.
Let's all love each other here. Let's all be nice, even though, my God, was I catching heat yesterday on social media just for explaining how this is going to go down if you do indeed want to trade Joel Embiid. It was unbelievable yesterday.
Do you think that well, first off, what I really laughed at was the idea that people were accusing you of, you just want to see Embiid gone, which
Yeah.
oh
my God, dude.
The first one of them that I read, I said, people will honestly just respond without knowing any context.
Yeah.
They will just be angry and respond because you have been I thought you were the last holdout, but it's Ray Dunn.
Yeah.
And Ray Dunn he's the guy trying to keep the cult alive. He's the guy who refuses to turn the lights off at Colt headquarters. And I'm worried about Ray. I mean, he comes from a great family. I don't know how this happened. I don't know how they let him fall into this. And hopefully we can have some sort of an intervention or otherwise. Because I heard John yesterday and Sean really trying to help Ray through this. And you can hear the pain in his voice. He doesn't just want to say it. It's over.
Yeah.
It is over.
Right, but
Get some help.
Yes, get some help.
In fairness to Ray,
What's the fairness?
if he's saying they're going to lose for 2 years with Sabonis, I may as well.
That is exact. Austin, I am not sort of without saying word for word what he said. That is exactly what he was saying.
Yeah, it's
If we're going to be bad,
if we're going to be bad, we might as well be bad with Joel. And I'm here to tell you, you're going to be bad with or without Joel.
And that's the point I'm trying to make. So we'll check the poll here in a second. Austin Jones is in for Connor today. There's people that have come to terms they're not going to win a championship with Joel Embiid, right? Like, they've come to that term, and right? Like,
you have absolutely done
all right,
that.
I finally said it. Are you happy now? I said it out loud. They're not going to win with Joel Embiid.
I'm glad that I lived long enough to see it.
The beauty of Howie Roseman is when he realizes that he will get out from a contract regardless of what that contract looks like. Look at what they did with Carson Wentz. Look at what they did with Bryce Huff, right? Like, it didn't matter. He was even though it was a bad contract, he found a way to get out of it, even if it meant a bad return and it meant dead money and all that kind of stuff. The difference with the NFL and NBA, there's no such thing as dead money. Like, you don't deal with that. You have to make the money work. So our poll, Austin, if you can read the question word for word and the answers, and then I'm going to read you one of the replies because people still don't get it. The poll of the day brought to us by Dr. Avidan Appel and Iron Mountain Men's Health. It's strong all 4 hours for us here in the morning. What do we got, Austin?
Alrighty, so if you really want to trade Embiid to remove yourself from the final 3 years of Embiid's contract, which trade would you do? Option A, trade Embiid for Domantas Sabonis, and you get rid of 2 years of the contract. Option B, Embiid and a first for 1 year of Jimmy Butler, or option C, keep Joel Embiid.
So just to clarify, it's for 2 years of Sabonis. So
Right.
if you trade Embiid to Sacramento,
You're getting out from under the bad contract in a year earlier.
forget the names involved. You subtract 3 years of a contract by one, and you have 2 years of a contract, of a bad contract, period. Forget the names. All right? I know that's hard for people. Forget the name Joel Embiid. Forget the name Domantas Sabonis. You're going from 3 years of a bad contract to 2 years of a bad contract. You would rather eliminate the bad contract quicker.
I would.
Option B, Embiid and a first, because you're going to have to throw in a sweetener to eliminate 2 years of a bad contract.
And that would be like the Golden State deal.
That's the one for Jimmy Butler. And option C, it's to keep Embiid. So right away, I see Dunkadelphia. Embiid and a first for 36-year-old Jimmy Butler, fresh off of an ACL tear. Laughing emoji. Dunkadelphia, you're not trading for Jimmy Butler, the player.
Correct.
You're trading for his contract that has 1 year left. So this is why I knew I was going to have fun today, John. And I can't wait to tell you this.
Yeah.
Option A, trade for Sabonis and have 2 years of Sabonis, is currently getting 38% of the vote. Option B, trade Embiid in the first for Jimmy Butler so that you only have 1 year left of that contract, is getting only 30% of the vote. The second most votes are going to option C at 33%. A third of our listeners are saying to keep Joel Embiid. I knew it. I knew this would happen. I knew people would say trade Embiid, but when they say trade Embiid, they're expecting some superstar in return, and then they realize that that's not going to happen. So then they say, "Oh well, I don't want to trade him."
I can't. I
knew it.
I don't even understand it. I don't understand it. I can't get over it.
Because people, our boss Scott Masteller always says, "Never assume." Right? People don't realize how the trades work in the NBA because it's the most confusing one. And in fairness, it is the most confusing cap structure out of the other three major sports, out of all four major sports. And so they don't realize that you have to trade for other bad contracts. It's not trade Joel Embiid and get three young guys that total $10 million.
It's not the way it works. Man, I'm telling you, I'm floored. That will change, though. I'm convinced that our listenership that will change.
We'll see.
I'm convinced. How about this? I'm praying. that changes because we have no hope. We have no hope as a fan base if that still is what's existing.
All right, so coming up next,
we're gonna keep wishing and hoping and lighting candles and crossing our fingers that this is the year Joel Embiid really is about to do it. It's brutal.
Man, I'm evil right now.
It's brutal.
Coming up next, we will repeat everything. All right. We'll once again remind you how the trade will work. And then we check the Davis Honda text line. And we see some more of these responses, John, where people are now realizing they want to keep Joel Embiid.
Mm-hmm.
It is Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Time for change. I'm Austin Jones with your Fanatic Sports Update. The 76ers decided to relieve President of Basketball Operations Daryl Morey from his duties, and one major issue with the team over the past few years has been their culture. Tony Jones from The Athletic joined John Kincade and Andrew Salciunas yesterday, and he stated that, culture has been an issue with this team, and it needs to be addressed.
You have to be as much on the same page as possible, and I think it was clear that not everybody has been on the same page, at least this year. So, the new hire that comes in is going to definitely have to deal with that.
Bob Myers and Josh Harris are set to speak to the media today at 4 o'clock. Tune in to Unfiltered right here on 97.5 The Fanatic for the press conference. Up in Boston, the Phillies fell to the Red Sox 3-1 as Kyle Schwarber was unable to extend his home run streak, but it was Boston's Cedon Raphael's pinch hit two-run home run that put Boston over the top. Today is a battle of old friends, though. Jesus Luzardo is on the mound against former Philly Ranger Suarez. First pitch is going to be set for 6:45, and today the NFL is going to release their NFL schedule at 8 o'clock. You can catch it on ESPN or NFL Network. This update is brought to you by Fox 1. Fox News is now streaming live on Fox 1. Get breaking news and in-depth analysis and perspectives from the voices you trust all in one place. Stream Fox News on Fox 1. See Fox 1 for complete terms and conditions. Download today. I'm Austin Jones, home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union. 97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
5, the Fanatic.
Kincade and Sabonis.
Kincade and Sabonis. Yeah, that turned to the you just want the Lithuanian here.
Oh, my gosh. Like, seriously.
And I was the biggest Joel Embiid hog for the longest time.
No, you still are. But
I still love the guy.
No, Ray Dunn.
Yeah,
Ray
Dunn has won that battle.
It's unbelievable. I don't know what's like. We have to. We had a neighbor, Brad, in Atlanta, who his company actually kidnapped people that were involved with like cults.
Oh, okay.
Drug addicts off the streets. No, seriously, they did, and they took them to these places to be able to dry out, get the help they needed. I think we may have to call Brad.
Okay.
I may have to make a call for Ray Dunn because yesterday I was think there's a serious intervention that needs to happen.
Wait, what was that show back in the day? Dog the Bounty Hunter?
I'm not sure.
Is it Dog?
There was a reality.
There is a show, Dog the Bounty Hunter.
Yeah, there was a reality TV show following the bounty hunter. I think we just need to sick them after Ray.
All right, and
we'll sick him after Ray.
And we'll hopefully save Ray.
I could call Brad Baker, get him involved.
In case you're wondering why we have to save Ray Dunn, Ray Dunn is still holding on to Joel Embiid, and
he really
John?
is. He really is
not alone, because a third of our responders on the poll right now have changed their tune altogether.
How?
So let's break this down again.
How can this be?
So today's Thursday, all right? Happy schedule release day. Andrew the Checker will be in studio with us from 8 to 10. Still have a lot of fun stuff in store for you. And we also have to open up debate day, which is something that we're going to start doing on a weekly basis. So there's still a lot to get to. But yesterday, when I saw the reaction to the Jake Fisher article where the Sixers could potentially call the Kings for Domantas Sabonis, Embiid goes to Sacramento. He has 3 years left on his deal. Sabonis has 2. People lost their damn minds. Well, I want to trade Embiid, but that's not who I want to trade him for.
That's not good enough.
And what people need to realize and come to terms with is we are not in a position where we are allowed to be picky. If we all agree that Embiid has one of the worst contracts in the NBA.
Well, no, they yesterday NBA Live, they believe he has the worst.
Okay. They believe
it's the worst contract.
But if I ask the Sixers fan, do you believe Embiid is one of the worst contracts in the NBA? They will probably say yes, if not the worst, it's top 5. Do you not think that like 25 teams in the NBA realize that?
I think they do.
That Embiid's contract's bad? That
it's freaking horrendous?
So why would they make a trade of some player of note where you're like, yes, we won this trade?
I had a gentleman already this morning saying to me, look, you keep him another year, one more year, and then next year no. You don't hold the jalopy for another year thinking all of a sudden it's going to look better next year. It's broken down, it's bad, it's not going to look better next year.
No, it's not. The only year where you might say that it could be better is when there's 1 year left because teams are always
1 year left, yeah.
Teams are always open to taking on a 1 year bad contract. What were the Sixers doing during the process? They were trading for 1 year bad
Expiring bad contracts all the time.
Yeah, like teams do that in the NBA.
And I understand that part of it big time, yeah.
So Embiid, whether it's 3 years or 2 years, it's still a bad contract. So you're not going to get some superstar. You're not getting Giannis for Joel Embiid.
Oh my gosh.
The trade that's going to go down is strictly to eliminate a year or 2 from Embiid's contract. That's why we're talking about Sabonis in Sacramento. That's why you're talking about potentially adding a pick and trading him to Golden State and getting Jimmy Butler in return, not for him to help you play basketball, but for him to only have 1 year left of his deal. That way, after next season, that max slot opens up either via free agency or you do a sign and trade or you trade for another player that's already on a max contract that's disgruntled with their team. You're not trading Embiid to win a championship in 2027. But here's the term that you have to reach. You're not winning with him either. You're not winning. So why not move on to try to eliminate a year or 2?
And so I think some of the people that are still in the cult, like Ray, which we have to, get Ray rescued from the cult, are still trying to spin. We're going to be bad either way is what you're telling me. So I want to be bad with Embiid. I want to do the nostalgia tour. I want to hold on to the hope that somehow my opinion of Joel Embiid that I've tried to believe for years and years is finally going to be proven right. And that's what this is about.
Yes. Could
The
be.
Embiid truthers want to believe that somehow they can hold on to a thread, that their belief that they've tried to just, I could still be right here. I could still end up being right. Joel may end up leading them somewhere. He's not. He's not. It's not happening. You got to move on. It's time to stop.
Now,
it's time to stop.
Dawood coming to Ray's defense here on our YouTube chat saying, I think Ray is saying it doesn't matter either way. You're still in the same predicament, trade or not. Yes. Like, again, if you have, let's say.
It's a predicament. Let's put it that way.
Let's say you subtract Joel Embiid and you put in Domantas Sabonis. You're not winning.
No, you're not winning.
But it's only 2 years left of the contract instead of 3.
Yep.
If it's Jimmy Butler, you're not winning.
Nope.
Just like you're not winning with Joel Embiid. But instead of 3 years of the contract, it's 1.
That's good.
And that's the purpose of making the trade. Or there are a lot of you coming to terms realizing it's not going to be any better with those options. I'd rather roll the dice for 3 more years of Joel Embiid. And that's why, quite literally, John, a third of our responders on the Dr. Avedon Appel Iron Mountains Men's Health poll of the day are saying keep Embiid.
Here's what I would say to you is, the great, and this is where I tell you all the time, it's a different sports town than the one I grew up in. I would tell you this, is that give me the greatest athletes that have been through this town.
Barkley.
If you'd say Barkley is one of the greatest competitors.
Charles Barkley.
Charles
Clear it
Barkley.
up.
Yes, absolutely. So you got that there. Let's go. Allen. Just go with that
Reggie
for basketball. Then you go, okay, a Reggie White,
Dog.
whoever it is,
Yeah,
whatever it is, the Jason Kelce's of the world, whatever. If you tell me that any one of them, Jimmy Rollins, Chase Utley, would have sat at a podium after losing to the Knicks and had that press conference, if you can tell me with a straight face that any one of them would have been like, yeah, I had a good series.
Successful season.
Yeah, it was a successful season. If you can tell me with a straight face that any one of them would have dared in the city of Philadelphia to say, yeah, that's a successful season, I think. Yeah, None of them ever would have. And that's where I tell you, people are so engaged into the it's the culture of celebrity, not the culture of team and everything. It's like, I love, and you love Joel Embiid, and you love him.
Yeah.
And I'm here to tell you, folks, he's let you down. He's let you down big time. And you know what? You still love him. You still love him. He can abuse you. He can do whatever he wants to do, and you just keep coming back for more. And after that press conference the other night, if you think any of the great athletes in Philadelphia history would have ever had that press conference, you're out of your minds. You're absolutely out of your minds. It never would have happened.
Another response on Twitter from Ben. Jimmy Butler, it's like you guys have only heard of 10 NBA players before. Once again, another person that does not understand how trades work in the NBA with bad max contracts. Joel Embiid is making $57 million this year. And it goes up, by the way. But you have to make the salary work for 1 year.
Correct. You got to make it. It's got to be for 1 year.
And
It's really not that hard. If we just break it down.
No, but people don't know.
I just don't get it.
But, dude, people don't know. I can break it down 1,000 times. If you weren't listening during the breakdown, you missed the breakdown, you probably don't know.
So that gentleman saying more people that don't know, all he has to do is go to Google. 2 Golden State beat writers have discussed this.
Yeah.
People who are paid to cover the Golden State Warriors have said, like, hey, could Embiid be an option?
Because they want to do
They
want to do one last
Correct.
hurrah with Steph Curry and Steve Kerr.
And that's why Steve came back.
Draymond.
And that's why Steve came back.
So if Jimmy Butler's not going to help them next year because he would most likely start the season injured. No, by the way, he's another old guy. They might say, all right, we need a big man that can work with Steph Curry. And
we'll take our chance.
Could you imagine there is a chance? Ready for this? There's a chance where you see Team USA partner up. LeBron doesn't have to sign a max contract.
He does not have to sign a max.
So you have Steph Curry on the max, Embiid on the max. LeBron just goes there for whatever contract that they come to terms with. Steve Kerr was the head coach of Team USA basketball that won gold with those 3 players.
You know he could recruit like that.
Yeah. Just saying, there's a chance where the 40-year-old Team USA team comes together in Golden State.
And Steve Kerr signed for 2 years because of this.
So that's why.
And
that Golden State could be up for an Embiid trade.
Could you see Steph and Kerr recruiting? I absolutely could.
By the way,
sure.
Embiid used to be sponsored by Under Armour. Kerr used to be an Under Armour athlete. So they probably have a relationship.
Remember Embiid and J.J. Redick's success of the dribble handoff? How do you think Embiid and Steph Curry would work?
Also, here's the thing, too. They traded during the deadline for Kristaps Porzingis, who had some severe illness, and they shipped him to San Francisco, one of probably the most unclean cities in the world. And I'll say it. I'm not afraid to say it.
It is. It's one of the most.
So if they're taking that type of risk for the own health of their player, I think they might be interested in Embiid.
They might be.
I think they might.
But again,
Joel would be getting sick every day of the week in San
That's
Francisco.
not our problem.
People don't understand how the trades work in the NBA, and they get emotional and they react and they get angry. Once you know how it works, let us know which option you choose. Embiid for Sabonis, 2 years of Sabonis. That means you subtract the contract by 1. 1 year of Jimmy Butler, but you have to throw in a first-round pick. That means you subtract the contract by 2. Or, as 32% of our voters are saying now, Johnny, just keep Joel Embiid.
As long as he downloads the Poop app and the Needles app, so he knows where the needle and the needle farms are and everything, he'd be fine in San Francisco.
What do we have on the Davis Honda text line? You can feel the Davis difference by checking them out in Burlington. And those are the 3 options today.
That's incredible.
It could change, but please.
No, it could. No, it could.
But, please don't come with me with, package Embiid and George and do this. And the reason why we're saying Embiid, by the way, 70% of you said Embiid, 30% of you said Paul George.
Absolutely.
So the majority of you wanted to trade Joel Embiid. But now that you don't like the packages, now you want to trade Paul George instead. What do we got?
All right, so again, and I need some names for these text messages because there's been some out-of-pocket ones like this one because they just want to take the franchise down even more. None of these trades are real. It's going to take almost 2 first-round draft picks to get off the contract, and you're getting a salary dump back. I just keep them and then stretch and waive the Joel contract after next year like Damian Lillard.
Yeah, they're not going to do that.
That's not going to happen.
The Bucks just did. I mean, look, the Damian Lillard situation was a mess in Milwaukee.
It was bad.
I don't see the Sixers doing this buyout
I do not
of
either.
Joel Embiid.
No.
I also, and again, speaking of people not totally understanding, and I'm saying it as respectfully as possible, I had a guy tweeting at me yesterday, well, how about the Sixers just eat half of the money? That's not how. That's not an NBA.
That's not an
doesn't do
NBA
that.
thing. Yeah, it's not.
That's Major League Baseball. That's the
We
NFL.
wish that was the. If that was the case, I believe they'd find a way to do that, and they'd find some medical.
Yeah.
But the thing is, Joel would also too. Now there is one other option, and it's an option that I will tell you he'll never do. Joel could do the Sixers a solid.
What, just retire?
He could medically retire.
It's not going to happen.
He'll never.
He's going to make $57 million.
With $1 on the books?
Would you do it?
No. And I'm saying to you, he's never going to do it.
He's making $57 million this year.
The minute that they called him and offered him that money, he said, Sphincter say what? Huh? What?
50.
Are you kidding me?
Million this
You're
year.
offering me what?
62 next year.
How
the
quickly?
year after that, and then 67.
How quickly can I sign? You're going to pay. I play 30 games a year, and you're offering me what? Yes.
Dude, my man's going to make $67 million.
Dude, the stupidity of the stupidity that has went down with some of these signings.
And that's why Daryl Morey got fired.
Is just beyond. It's beyond.
Daryl Morey did some good things. Daryl Morey put them in such a horrific situation with the Embiid contract and also the Paul George contract, and this is why we're stuck in purgatory yet again. What else do we have on the text line, Austin?
Yeah, so this gentleman or gal said, I would trade Joe and the 22 overall pick to Golden State for Jimmy's expiring contract in a heartbeat. I would do the Sabonis deal too. Him and PG would both be free agents after a new deal, and then next thing you know, it's VJ coming up.
And that's why another reason why you would look to trade Embiid before Paul George. Paul George has 2 years left.
Yes.
Embiid has 3.
And by the way, and that's much more. And Paul George's contract.
Yeah, he might actually be movable.
Is movable. I did the NBA pregame show last night on ESPN Radio. And that was the talk they had of their expert panel. And then I was on and talked about it.
And they looked at you as a part of the expert
panel.
panel.
No. I was just of the local, more local opinion panel. And but the idea was they believe Jimmy Butler's, he's not Jimmy Butler. They believe absolutely that Paul George's contract is the movable one.
There's a chance that both get moved. There's a chance.
But they don't think both could be moved this offseason. Their expert panel did not believe both could be moved this offseason. But they did believe that the more movable contract is absolutely Paul George.
Yeah.
They think Paul George, his contract is the one that people would go, oh, I could see that working. I could maybe see that working. And Western Conference teams.
Be ready for another year of Embiid. Telling you right now, be ready for another year of
Well, you know who will be excited?
Ray Dunn.
Ray Dunn.
Ray Dunn, man.
Ray Dunn will be excited, and everybody in Ray Dunn's cult will be excited.
All right, we'll try to continue to explain this as much as possible because every segment I refresh notifications and there's people not realizing how trades work in the NBA. And
Well, that's the NBA. And again, that's the NBA's fault.
Yeah, we'll get there eventually.
With a horrible system.
Get there eventually. Phillies last night, Johnny. Our own Connor Thomas in attendance in Boston yesterday. Phillies lose 3-1 to the Sox. Andrew Painter looked better yesterday.
Looked better. Yeah, he looked better.
Thank God. He goes 5 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 4 Ks. But the bats went pretty cold yesterday.
They were cold.
They had 3 total hits. Trey Turner was out of the lineup yesterday.
He had a tummy ache. I think it was his stomach.
Oh, I didn't even know.
Like
I thought he was
I think it was stomach. No, I think it was having like a stomach ailment or something.
Schwarber's home run streak comes to an end, unfortunately.
That bum. Not 6 games in a row.
How dare he?
Terrible.
Alec Boehm had one of the worst at bats ever at the end of the game yesterday. I mean, you guys know how I feel about the guy already. I can't stand watching him play baseball. Alec Boehm, and I get it. Aroldis Chapman's a stud, right? Like what he is doing at his age is unbelievable. But Chapman wasn't perfect yesterday. He allows 2 runners on base. Alec Boehm comes up to bat with 2 outs with runners on second and third yesterday. All right, all you need to do is a little bloop, and you've tied that ball game. Trey Turner was on second base. He pinch ran. First, he swings at a pitch that almost hits him.
Terrible.
Then he takes a ball. Then he fouls off another pitch. And then he swings at a pitch that was in the other batter's box to close out the game. He is so in his own head right now, which is a bad place to be for Alec Boehm because clearly he has already struggled with the moment, and he has been all season long. And, oh, by the way, this is ever since he's raised his batting average to 186. I don't know what you do with the guy. I don't know what you do. He had the 2 home run day the other day. God bless him. Like, that was awesome to see. But he's a non-factor. What do you do with the guy?
That is correct. Well, he's an expiring contract. We're talking NBA terms.
Yeah.
He's an expiring contract. You don't have to play him for long. But the thing is, you have a problem because of the fact that you don't have Aiden Miller.
Yeah,
and they thought
scary,
Aiden Miller would be there. But
that's scary. His situation, or he's still not doing baseball activities. That's a scary situation. All right, something that we want to do today, and we're going to start this on a weekly basis, is debate day. So if you weren't listening at the end of the show, we'll explain it yet again here. We want to try to either help settle your debates, or maybe we make it worse because you and I might not be on the same page. What is the most recent thing that you and your buddies have been debating at the bar? It doesn't have to be sports. It could be anything. And we want you to send it to the text line, Davis on a text line, Feel the Davis Difference in Burlington, 610-632-0975. And Austin will tell us the most recent thing that you guys have been debating, whether it's sports, whether it's movie, TV, life, violations, do's and don'ts, whatever it is. Tell us what it is, and John and I will try to settle it, or we might further it if we don't see eye to eye on something. So, Austin, I'm going to put you on the spot. What's the most recent thing that you and the lady have debated? And I'm not saying argued over, where it was like, you slept on the couch. I'm saying, what's the most recent thing you guys have debated?
Well, we'll take that one too, though.
No. I haven't been put on the couch in some time now, so I've been on my best behavior, John.
That's good work.
Okay, very good.
But it's not necessarily like a 1v1 thing, but we debate to eat just dinner every single night.
Get ready for that.
We try, I understand this, but what our issue is like last night, it was, well, do we want to venture out and get sushi from the local spot? Or do we do the opposite end of the cuisine and do some pizza? Oh. And she loves sushi, but I wasn't feeling it because I was kind of hungry. I walked around a lot yesterday walking my stepdog. So that was our latest debate. Nothing of interest maybe to you guys, but good old food debate for us.
Yeah, I mean, the food debate, like John said, that'll
get ready for that because I will not play the game anymore. It's been, almost a quarter century of marriage that I now just say, if I say, what do you want to eat? The response cannot be, well, what do you want?
Yeah, and then you
because
pick
I
something,
know
and
if I
then-
pick something, it will be, I don't want that.
Yeah.
So I will not do that. So that's not the game we play. It is now, it's what do you want to eat? Pick it. That's it. Because I can't do that. That's tough.
All right, Renee wants to know who's more insufferable, John or Andrew?
I don't. No, you got to answer.
Yeah, we're putting you on the spot, Austin.
Me?
Yeah.
I'd have to say you, John.
Oh,
See,
wow,
there
he
it
just
is. He says this.
he went right after.
John gets
Austin
a little
went-
worked up at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Austin went right at it.
Hey,
I would.
But I would say
hold no
this.
punches.
hey, but due to Donnie baseball, John's calm down a little
Funny
bit.
thing is, I think you get more worked up.
I do get worked.
I think Andrew gets more worked
Yeah,
up.
I pop off, man.
I think you get more worked up. But the thing is, I guarantee you, little stuff bothers me more than you.
yes.
No question.
Oh, absolutely.
Little
yeah.
stuff bothers me more than Andrew. But Andrew gets more worked up. Like Andrew can get.
Hell
You
yeah,
could
man.
throw down in a. You could go 0 to 60 fast.
Yeah.
And nobody would guess that.
No, nobody would.
Nobody would guess that from you.
We got some good debate texts coming in.
All right, already?
good,
All right,
good, good, good.
So this is something that we're going to do on a weekly basis. So if we don't get to it today, like we'll save it and we'll continue to do these throughout the course of the week. We want to do it every Wednesday. Daryl Morey getting fired kind of changed things. So today is the first edition, inaugural debate day here on Kincade Salciunas. Coming up next, speaking of debates, first take, Stephen A. Smith. He talked about Tyrese Maxey. And
This is really interesting.
But, John, this week we've been trying to crush narratives, like the local one we got yesterday about how the Sixers are in a good spot and they have a good core.
Good club.
We have to shut this one down fast. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Okay, you want to live bet on baseball? You want to live bet on basketball? Of course you do. You want to have some fun. Well, there's always lots to do on the BetParks app. It's so much more fun. Live betting on baseball. The top 95 pro golfers in the world are in Landview this week in Newtown Square, right here in the Delaware Valley for a championship. So why don't you come out and bet on it on the BetParks online sportsbook and casino app. It's the only online casino and sportsbook app I ever recommend to you. Philly baseball in Boston today. Hopefully the rain holds out. You can bet individual player performances, pro baseball. You can bet home runs, hits, strikeouts, and more. You can bet your own golfer's performance in the championship being held in Newtown Square today through Sunday. It's time to play, so make your downtime fun time on the BetParks online casino and sportsbook app. If you have never bet golf before, it's right in our backyard. You should do it. So you can get up to $500 in bonus back in the first 24 hours, too, in casino bonus if you want to go on out there and try some of the bonus spins on the hot soccer-themed online slot game, Gold Trio Soccer. There's also lots of hot online slots. It's the BetParks online casino and sportsbook app. There's always another way to win. You got to be 21 in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Maryland, or Michigan. New users only. Terms and conditions apply. Check it on out at betparks.com. Should you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Time for change. I'm Austin Jones with your Fanatic Sports Update. The 76ers made the decision earlier in the week to relieve President of Basketball Operations Daryl Morey, and one major issue with the team over the years has been their culture. Tony Jones from The Athletic joined John Kincade and Andrew Salciunas yesterday, and he spoke that if there's going to be a new man in charge, he's going to have to change the culture.
You have to be as much on the same page as possible, and I think it was clear that not everybody has been on the same page, at least this year. So, the new hire that comes in is going to definitely have to deal with that.
Bob Myers and owner Josh Harris are set to speak to the media today at 4 o'clock, so tune in to Unfiltered as we'll carry the press conference live right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. Up in Boston, the Phillies fell to the Red Sox as Kyle Schwarber's home run streak came to an end, and on the opposite side of the ball, Ceddanne Raphael's pinch hit two-run home run sent the Red Sox over the top today. Today, old friends Jesus Luzardo and Ranger Suarez are going to toe off on the rubber. First pitch is going to be set for 6:45. In the NFL, the NFL schedule is going to be set to release at 8 o'clock. You can catch it on NFL Network or ESPN. So far, the Eagles are going to play in London and on Thanksgiving. This update is brought to you by Foreman Mills. Foreman Mills, 2201 Cotman Ave. Grand opening is today in Philly, but the deals are all weekend. Foreman Mills. I'm Austin Jones, your home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union. 97.5 The Fanatic.
7 a.m. hour is brought to you by the BetParks online casino and sportsbook app. Live bet sports on the BetParks app. Play all your favorite casino games. There's always another way to win on the BetParks online casino and sportsbook. Got to be 21 in Pennsylvania, Jersey, or Maryland. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
All right, it is schedule release day, so we're going to talk more about the Eagles and the NFL when our man Andrew DeCecco is in the studio from 8 to 10 today. We're about to begin something we're going to do on a weekly basis on the show called Debate Day, where we try to help settle your debates, what you debated recently at the bar with your buddies or via text or with your spouse at home. But, John, I need to update the poll again.
Okay.
Because we almost have a new leader in the clubhouse.
Really? No. No.
All right, poll of the day brought to us by Dr. Avedon Appel and Iron Mountain Men's Health. It's strong every day here on Kincade Salciunas. So yesterday, again, if you're just tuning in, yesterday I realized, in fairness, because the NBA makes it really confusing, that a lot of people don't understand how some trades in the NBA work. You need to make the money match. So there can't be a team that goes, man, we are one Joel Embiid away from winning a championship. We are willing to trade these 3 young players. It's not like baseball where big name and there's 5 prospects that are involved. In basketball, you have to make the money match. Joel Embiid is going to make $57 million next season.
And it gets worse.
And then it goes up to 62, and then it goes up to 67. It goes up $10 million 2 years from now. He's going to make $57 million, a touch under $58 million next year.
We need a thanks Daryl Morey drop.
My God, there's a lot to it. So Embiid, to be traded, you need to find another player that is close to $58 million. It can't be 3 young players that accumulate about $15 million.
Can't be.
It's got to be another max contract player.
You can't just do them you can't just add up contracts.
No, it has to be a max slot because if you don't use it, you lose it. That's right. As the old saying goes. And it's got to be money that is somewhere near Joel Embiid's. People don't know this apparently. And they don't know that Domantas Sabonis, who's making $45 million this upcoming season, is one of those logical players that could be included in a trade for Joel Embiid. So our 3 options that we are giving you today, if you truly are in the belief of the Sixers should trade Joel Embiid, option 1 is you trade Embiid to Sacramento and you get Domantas Sabonis in return. Sabonis has 2 years left on his deal. Embiid is 3. So really, your win in this trade is subtracting 1 year off of that contract. And oh, by the way, his maximum is $48 million. Embiid's is $68 million. So
yes, exactly.
You're also saving $20 million in this trade. Option 2, Embiid and a first for Jimmy Butler. You're not trading for Jimmy Butler and his talent. You're trading for Jimmy Butler, who only has 1 year left of his contract after this season. This would be the final year. That max slot opens up. You use it in free agency or sign in trades. Or option C, which a lot of people are starting to get to, John, is you just keep Embiid. Option A, the trade for Sabonis, I'm going to give you the tenths of a percent now. 34.8%.
You're kidding me.
Keep Embiid is 33.1.
I can't get over it.
And then 32% say option B. They're going to talk themselves into keeping Embiid again, dude. They're going to do it.
No, it's because of Ray Dunn. I'm telling you, we need to get Ray Dunn deprogrammed.
No, it's not just that. It's
because Ray is so trustworthy. He's such a trustworthy young kid. He's got that young kid face. Well, we get rid of that beard, and I know that Sean's trying to help him with that. The voice, he's just charming. He's a nice guy. Got to get rid of him.
But there's people that thought if you traded Embiid, you'd get Giannis. You're getting emails about it.
It's incredible.
People are emailing you saying, wait, why wouldn't you get Giannis?
You're out of touch.
They don't realize how this is going to go.
Why do you think that Milwaukee Sports Radio is not doing the exact same thing about trading bad contracts for bad contracts?
They're not doing
Embiid would be a perfect... No, they're not. The minute that Giannis... If the Milwaukee Bucks say this morning, we're open for business, we need the next 3 days, we need your deals for Giannis, there will be minimum of 10 teams.
That's what Shams is already reporting.
Shams already has said on ESPN, 17 teams can do it with their cap space. I would tell you that a deal that leads with Embiid would be bottom of the barrel as far as deals that Milwaukee could make.
By the way, the deal that they would want from Philadelphia is an Embiid.
No,
it would be
wouldn't
Maxey.
Exactly.
Or VJ. And the Clippers' first-round draft pick.
My God. All right. Now, speaking of Maxey, we have to shut this down immediately. You sent this to us. Here was Stephen A. Smith.
Good stuff, by the way.
Talking about what Maxey should do.
Tyrese Maxey want out of Philadelphia now.
You know what? I think that is something that he needs to strongly consider. It's got to be deflating and disappointing. He led the league in minutes this year, 38 minutes a game. He was the 5th leading scorer, averaging over 27 a game. The guy's a spectacular player, and Daryl Morey put him in a pinch. There's no way around it. Daryl Morey, listen, I like Daryl Morey. I respect him, but he's been too addicted to analytics for too long.
If they trade Maxey, or if Maxey demands a trade, this is what happens.
Guys, I've already gotten a couple of text messages saying you guys aren't talking about potentially trading Maxey.
Yeah, we're not.
Because the organization won't allow it.
Not happening.
The organization won't allow it. They're going to if we're talking about moving on from Joel Embiid, they're not going to move on from the former face of the franchise and also allow the current face of the franchise or the next face of the franchise to get traded as well. It's not going to happen. If it does, then we're entering another tank, like a legitimate tank.
One they might execute properly this time?
Maybe.
You got VJ at least.
Like that's the world we're entering again. If that happens, I need that to stop now. Stephen A., please don't even put that out there.
I'll tell you though, it is the next level of debate and conversation. By the way, you got something started there, Austin.
Yes.
Is now one of the cousins has checked in and said, John, could you make up a top 10 of the things that you say Andrew says you got too many things to worry about? Could you make up a top 10 of these
Can
things
I?
in Celebrated Debate Week? No, I came up with 8 easy.
Oh, okay. What do you got?
Undershirts under polo shirts.
Yeah.
Wearing a white undershirt under a polo shirt.
You do that, brother?
You don't do that.
You care about that?
You don't
no,
do that.
I don't, but he
You
cares
don't do
about
that.
Oh, dude, I'm sure. I'm like Nick Castellanos half the time.
Socks with slides. Stupid ass look.
Coming back from basketball.
Flip-flops with jeans. Horrible look. Like horrible. Baseball caps indoors at restaurants. Guys, take them off. Cargo shorts for people over 40. Stop. Old guy graphic T-shirts and jeans with any kind of design on your backside. Guys, take them off. Like, to stop. And untucked golf shirts on golf courses.
Okay, yeah, I think
that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's just not good. That's just not good. There's just some off the top of my head.
And it's just amazing because you notice these things. I don't.
And you don't. And that is the truth, by the way, with Andrew. He does not.
Like,
did you
see? And I go, no.
No, and you don't. Like, he does not recognize this stuff.
Tunnel
like,
vision.
he does not recognize this.
All right, so we're doing debate day. What's our first one? You said we got a bunch coming in on the text line. What's the latest thing you've been debating with your buddies, your spouse, your kids, whatever? John and I are either here to settle it or to further it.
Yeah, so it's breakfast time, so we got food on the mind. This is Steve from ATCO. Egg sausage McMuffin or egg sausage McGriddle, which is better from McDonald's?
I have just found
McMuffin.
I have just found the McGriddle this past year.
I don't like the pancake with everything else.
My wife,
I'm a McMuffin guy.
My wife got me to get her one. I tried one for the first time. It's a nice item.
I've had it.
I like the McMuffin better.
Yeah, McMuffin is better. I don't. It's too much. That's too much. The pancake. The
McMuffin
McGriddle.
before a round of golf is
man.
clutch.
Oh, yeah.
That is a clutch.
Or after a few beers the night before.
Oh, well, that
Yes.
could very well work, too.
With the McDonald's OJ and a hash brown? Come on, gentlemen.
been
Number
there.
2. You know my order.
That
All right,
could
what
work,
else?
too.
What else we got?
All righty, this is Will from Levittown. This is going to stir some people up here. I say Philadelphia is a front-running fan base, but my boy Jerry disagrees.
It is a fan base like every other fan base in the world. I know we look at ourselves as very special. We are, because we care so much. But when Jimmy Rollins said Philadelphia is a city of frontrunners, it's every city in the United States.
Yes, here's what I'm going to give you, though. Like when you talk about the Knicks are bad forever. The Knicks sell out MSG forever.
Sure. Now,
the Sixers arena was empty.
Now I will say,
so that's not. I don't think that applies to the Knicks.
I will say that the Garden's also a a destination for people.
I hear that. I hear that.
Like Wrigley and
Like, I mean,
Fenway,
it's a
the
destination
Cubs and
of-
Red Sox could stink, but people are still going to go to Wrigley and Fenway.
It's different. I really think it's different. As someone who's been to MSG a ton in my life, I don't consider MSG to be Wrigley and Fenway.
But like, just look at the Flyers, for example. And I say this like in a nice way. Not many people care about the Flyers until this year.
Yeah, I mean, but there's not every city is a front running fan base. Boston, by the way, freaking front runner.
Oh hell yeah, man!
Like, did you see that stadium last night?
Yeah,
Empty.
yeah, empty.
I mean, seriously. I
right.
remember when there was no such thing as Red Sox Nation.
All right, we will either further or end your debates or help your debates. Send them in, 610-632-0975. We'll get another one next. But also, it's today's headlines with Austin Jones, who's in for Connor today here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Guts.
Oh, the poll has shifted. The majority are now saying to keep Joel Embiid. John, I knew it. I knew this was going to happen. Option A, trade for 2 years of Sabonis. Option B, 1 year of Butler. Option C, keep Embiid. And option C is in the lead. I told you I was going to be twisted today. I knew this was coming. We're going to talk ourselves into, oh, wait, well, I don't like.
No.
I don't like that package.
Okay,
I don't like that package. So let's keep Embiid.
Okay, here's what I'm going to say. Don't be weird. Don't say we. Don't say we. Because 2/3 of the people, honestly, and I'll flat out say it, 2/3 of the people have a basketball IQ and understand it. And understand. This is ridiculous. Any other fan base in the country, any other part of the country would look at this and go, we understand why they have to move on, why they should move on. It's just, I swear to you, it's these holdouts. And I'm telling you, I blame Ray Dunn. Blame him.
Yeah. Look,
I'm blaming Ray.
There are people that would rather just deal with 3 years of Embiid.
No, they're hoping somehow they're going to be right. There's nothing more important. And look, we all fall into it at times. I'm not saying that I don't also.
I was doing it for the longest time.
We want to be, look, we all want to be right with what we believe in sports.
When it's a positive thing, yes.
So it's not something where, like, I'm saying I don't fall into it too. But with this thing, with the whole process and that stupidity, it's done. It's finished. And people just will not turn off the lights. And it's dragging us all down. And the more, and I'll tell you, the more the Sixers see this stuff, the more they go, hey, we may still sell some tickets.
Well, that's why I was trying to crush the Noah Levick story yesterday. Sixers still have a solid core. The first 4 guys, no, we don't.
Here's what I'm going to say to you: Matt Cord is retired. Matty Cord is retired. He's right down the hall. We're so glad we get to see him still. Matt Cord's retired. Hopefully, maybe now that we don't have to, we can go to a new thing where there'll be new stuff, and we don't have to have the process. Doesn't even have to be uttered in that building again.
The process and Embiid
doesn't have to be uttered in that building again.
We'll see. All right, it's time now for today's headlines with Austin Jones.
Today's headlines with Austin Jones.
And today, you got a fancy.
I like that.
Shout out Matt Menard. Alrighty, so today's headlines brought to you by Lundy Law. For over 70 years, Lundy Law has been fighting for injured people if you need them. Remember the name, Lundy Law. Your injury lawyers, visit LundyLaw.com. That's LundyLaw.com. Alrighty, so, we love our sports announcers throughout the course of all sports. Jim Nantz and Joe Buck. Well, shout out Sean Rodman. Apparently, Jim Nantz could have been right here in Philadelphia.
In the summer of 1985, I had just turned 26, and I flew to Philadelphia. Was so honored to be asked to audition for the number 2 role. And about 2 weeks later, they called and said, "Sorry, we're going to go in a different direction."
And you know who they hired?
Yuki.
They hired the legend Yuki Washington.
How about that, man? Yeah, I saw that literally this morning, right before I left my house.
Wait a minute. So was Yuki in on that?
Yuki, it was interviewing Jim Nantz.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. If he kept on playing the clip, Yuki goes, "By the way, do you know who they ended up going with?" And he put his hand out. He shook his hand.
That's incredible because Yuki's a legend. I mean, and one of the kindest people in local media.
Yeah.
Great dude.
But how amazing. Obviously, Jim Nantz in town because they got the tournament this weekend at Aronimink. But
you've seen his backyard?
Yeah, with the
I think with the par 3 in the backyard. Yeah, awesome. He's done very well for himself.
I think it worked out.
Yeah, he's got a par 3 in his backyard there.
And Jim Nantz can't even be mad because now he looks and he goes, "Oh, this guy is still here."
Yeah,
he's done well for himself.
All these years later. All righty. Secondly, it's something that's caught my mind. Troy Aikman, obviously with ESPN now, he's got ownership with the Miami Dolphins, but he speaks highly of Jalen Hurts, and we know Jalen Hurts have his critics. This was Troy Aikman on Get Up yesterday with Greeny.
And I believe Jalen can do anything that he's asked to do. I go back to early in his career. We had them in the playoff game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It was Jalen's first year as a starter.
I remember the game.
They did not play well in that game offensively. They really struggled, and they needed to be better throwing the football. And the very next year, it was remarkable, the turnaround that we saw from that passing game and from Jalen Hurts. So what that proved to me is that he's a quarterback who puts in the time to do everything he can to be his best. And so whatever he's been challenged with this offseason, I fully expect him to come out and play the kind of football that we're accustomed to seeing him play.
I love that analysis from Troy Aikman.
Yeah.
I feel good about it. I'm a big believer that Jalen Hurts.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
This isn't the only Hall of Fame quarterback that has had some great words about Jalen Hurts.
No, Tom Brady.
Manning, Tom Brady.
Yeah. Yes.
So how many more times do we need to hear from the actual horse's mouth, at times some of the greatest quarterbacks that have played the position during their time, that, Jalen Hurts is going to put the work in, and that we should have the ultimate faith that he's going to turn this thing around this coming year?
Because, again, I always go back to that guy in D.C. that his son asked him, hey, is Jalen Hurts a good quarterback? And it took him like 15 minutes to answer it because he wins, but they run the football a lot.
Fantasy football.
Yes.
Fantasy football has destroyed a lot of football conversations because people want stats. People want to talk Trevor Lawrence. People want to talk, numbers. Well, how much did somebody pass for? How much did he pass for? I want to know wins.
Now, again, this year is going to be interesting because it's the quiet prove-it year.
It is.
And Jeremy Fowler spoke with a lot of executives recently, and he wrote an article that he dropped, I think, yesterday. And one AFC executive could see the Eagles moving on from Jalen Hurts after this season if it does not go well, because this is the direction they want to go in, the Sean Mannion style,
right.
The Kyle Shanahan style of offense, the Sean McVay style of offense with Sean Mannion. And if Jalen Hurts does not handle the offense well, they could look to move on from. This is an executive in the AFC that's saying that. Polarizing player, and his running ability starts to decline. His value will decline too. And Eagles general manager Howie Roseman will always be proactive with finding solutions.
Yes.
It's going to lead to really interesting conversations this year.
Well,
maybe that AFC executive wants Jalen Hurts to be their quarterback.
Are they 6-2 or are they 2-6?
Right.
Yeah. That's really where it gets interesting.
Alrighty, last one for us here. I'm not big on, the roasts. We've seen them over the years. Tom Brady was one of the bigger ones. Well, Kevin Hart had his. Well, he got actually roasted by Tom Brady.
Have you even left the forum? Or have you just been here screaming into that mic the last 2 years waiting for daddy to come home? Well, unlike your real dad, I actually showed up.
Oh, you son of a...
And I brought you a jersey.
Oh, you son of a...
Newborn size.
And he holds up a New York Knicks Brunson jersey. That's literally newborn size.
Yeah.
Yeah, these roasts, man.
They're you open your whole family to it, too.
Yes, you
which
do.
is what Brady found out.
Yeah.
You can't do that to your kids. You
Yeah.
can't do that to your children.
People were outraged. Apparently, Paul McCartney was asked to do a roast, and the roast of Paul McCartney was like, no, because all my friends are like, what are you gonna do? Like, make fun of my dead friends? And
Yeah, exactly. You can't do that. And how many jokes can you make that he looks like an old woman? Come on, can't do that. I'm still pissed he did Super Bowl 39 halftime. Man,
yeah,
that was terrible. I watched that with the great John Clark, Glenn Macnow, the great Rhea Hughes. Trying to think of who else was there for that one. We sat there and I'm watching. I'm like, this is Super Bowl halftime?
Hell yeah, man. The Beatles.
Paul McCartney?
Yeah, Paul
No,
McCartney.
it wasn't the
I know, it
Beatles.
was Paul
If it
McCartney,
was the
but I know.
Beatles, it'd be great.
Yeah, this is Paul McCartney by
Yeah,
himself.
it'd be great.
All right, coming up next, our man Andrew DeCecco will be in studio. We'll continue this Joel Embiid trade talk because now all of a sudden the momentum is shifted to keeping Embiid.
Oh
I knew that would happen. It took 4 days, and we're back, baby. We are back to keeping Joel Embiid. But also, the Eagles are getting closer to another season. Schedule release date tonight. Andrew DeCecco has 3 players on the Eagles that he believes will have breakout seasons and will become more known nationally. He'll tell you those names next. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
I'm Austin Jones with your Fanatic Sports Update. This update is brought to you by Philly Sports Trips. The Birds are taking over Nashville, and Philly Sports Trips travel, hotel tickets, and more all included. Spots are limited. Submit your deposit now at phillysportstrips.com. That's phillysportstrips.com. It's time for a change in Philadelphia as the 76ers decided to move on from Daryl Morey as their president of basketball operations. One issue with the 76ers over the years has been their culture. Tony Jones from The Athletic spoke with John Kincade and Andrew Salciunas yesterday about the team's culture, and he cited that it's going to have to be something that's got to be improved on.
You have to be as much on the same page as possible, and I think it was clear that not everybody has been on the same page, at least this year. So, the new hire that comes in is going to definitely have to deal with that.
Bob Myers and owner Josh Harris are set to speak to the media today at 4 o'clock. Make sure you're tuned in to Unfiltered as we will carry that presser live on 97.5 The Fanatic. Up in Boston, the Phillies fell to the Red Sox 3-1 as Kyle Schwarber was unable to extend his home run streak. And on the opposite side, Ceddanne Raphael hit the pinch hit two-run home run to set the Red Sox over the top. Today, it's a battle of old friends as Jesus Luzardo is going to face Ranger Suarez. First pitch is set for 6:45, and the NFL schedule release will take place today at 8 p.m. I'm Austin Jones, your home, the Sixers, Flyers, and Union, 97.5 The Fanatic and The Fanatic app.
And the Fanatic app.
It is 8 a.m. here on Kincade Salciunas 97.5 The Fanatic. Oh, my God. This is the greatest tweet to ever hit refresh as you're coming out of a commercial break.
What?
Because it just sets up our next guest who's in studio with us for the rest of the show.
The Phillies traded JT Realmuto's bad contract?
No, that's not happening.
Oh, I thought it was a great tweet.
Tommy Reardon chimes in.
Love Tommy.
Super excited about this Andrew DeCecco segment. Can't wait to hang a Cam Latu jersey right next to this guy's. He has a Jack Stahl signed jersey in his house.
No way.
What?
No way.
Okay, there's a story.
Tommy, I got to tell you, man, that's another level of devotion.
Dude, he's got a signed Stoll jersey, and he wants Latu next to it.
Tommy doesn't skip leg day.
Well, that just shows you that Tommy listens or reads what I say, and in my way too early 53-man roster projection, I have Cameron Latu making the team.
That's because he listened on Sunday morning.
Or he's just
Saturday
followed along, and
there you go.
Unfortunately, people don't listen, read, or understand how trades work in the NBA.
It's hard, though. You got to understand, it is hard.
Yeah, no, but my favorite part is, like, the people that are nasty about it. Like, you don't know what you're talking about. And it's like, well, no, you literally don't know what you're talking about because you think that you can trade Joel Embiid for, like, 5 players. It's not going to happen. We'll get to that in a little bit.
Sure.
Because I can't wait to get your opinion
on
the poll of the day today that I knew how it would play out. I am twisted.
He did think this was going to, and I did not.
I am stirring the pot.
Not. I did not. I thought he was wrong. I thought this is not happening.
I love it. All right, we'll get to that soon.
So it is.
I'm being childish. You wrote an amazing article, per usual, for InsideTheBirds.com about 3 potential breakout players this year for the Philadelphia Eagles that will become more nationally known. Like, obviously, in this city, we're obsessed with knowing everything about the Philadelphia Eagles. I'd like for you to go through that, and then obviously we'll talk about some of the schedule stuff. It is schedule release day. Happy schedule release day. But I found it really interesting, some of the names that you talked about. You did an offensive player, a defensive player, and a special teams player. Can you break it down for the people?
Yeah, would love to. So offensively, there's a lot of candidates, but you look at Devontae Smith, who I think stands to benefit most from this new look offense. He's already broken out.
Yeah.
I'm looking at a player that has a lot to gain, and that's Dontavian Wicks. He's never had more than 39 receptions in a season. He's accomplished that twice. In this offense, he's going to take on an elevated role. I also believe that this offense suits him in terms of the short to intermediate routes. He's an underneath type of receiver. Not someone that's typically going to get vertical. He runs a 4.62, but he does have good body control. He's really good at separating at the top of routes, and I think Howie Roseman really illustrated this well, guys. What he noted was, whether it was Malik Willis or whether it was Jordan Love, quarterbacks seem to trust him in high-leverage moments. So I believe that should suggest that Jalen Hurts won't have any issues establishing an early rapport with him, and he's probably going to be somebody who's that chain mover. You could easily see a path where there's going to be some volume to his numbers. Now, a breakout season's all relative, right? So if he goes over 39 receptions, anywhere around 48 to 50 catches, that constitutes as a breakout campaign.
Right.
He's kind of lost in the shuffle a little bit there in Green Bay, but in Philadelphia, he has a much more clear-cut and defined role to emerge.
I saved a DM that I got last week for you that I didn't realize. I'm sorry I didn't get to it last week, but CJ wanted to get to it. And I think it just sort of sets up to that same conversation. He wanted to know, how does the running style of Saquon Barkley fit with this new passing attack?
Yeah, that's a question that
He's
I looked at
by
it.
the way.
Well, no, so it's a fair question. I looked at it in the beginning, knowing that there's going to be more outside zone and stretch plays, and wondering to myself, does that really suit Saquon Barkley? Is that really going to really accentuate what he does well? I think he showcased some patience when he got to the second level last season. There were times where he was pressing and not necessarily taking the 3 or 4 yards. He went as far as to mention that himself, but I think that was more so a byproduct of the offensive line and the holes not being there like they were the previous season. He's just trying to make something happen. But he doesn't exactly exhibit Le'Veon Bell-style patience. Not many running backs in league history have. But I think once you rep it and you practice it in OTAs, there's OTAs later this month. That's where you start to install things. You have mandatory minicamp. You get into the habit of being patient, waiting for your blocks to develop, and that is sort of becomes a part of your arsenal now. I think with some repetition and understanding what the blocking schemes are going to consist of, it should suit him well. Saquon Barkley is one of the best running backs in the league. There's not going to be a system that's not going to fit him. Do I think that the inside zone and the old guard of what they used to do suited him better? Yeah, I do. But I think he's sort of a player that can fit with any system.
All right, who's the player on defense that you believe will have a breakout season that will be recognized more nationally?
Jalix Hunt. And Jalix Hunt finished last season with 6.5 sacks. Now, I should note that from weeks 10 to week 18 is where he compiled 5.5 of those. That happened to coincide with the arrival of Jalen Phillips. What I noted about J-Lux Hunt. He showed up to training camp with a much more filled-out physique, making him a two-way player, meaning he could stop the run and he can get after the quarterback. And he made a big leap in terms of snaps, 241 as a rookie, 693 last season. He led all pass rushers. So the opportunity is certainly going to be there. And by the way, they've added Jonathan Grenard, who I believe, it's just my opinion, he's an even more refined and impactful pass rusher than Jalen Phillips is. So he's going to command a lot of attention from opposing linemen, which should unlock J-Lux Hunt to continue to build off of the way he closed out the 2025 season. He continues to make improvements from year 1 to year 2. I imagine from year 2 to year 3, it's fair to envision a scenario where he has double-digit sacks, and that's what that was kind of what my thought process was there.
Is there a new level that can potentially be reached for Jordan Davis, or did last year with the amount of snaps that he stepped forward, is there a level that he can take his game to?
Slightly, yes, and certainly the Eagles are banking on that, as evidenced by them committing to him for the foreseeable future. I don't know that he's never going to be Warren Sapp. He's never going to be Aaron Donald. We all know that. But there are other areas of his game that you saw develop last season. You can build off of that. He's a young player. He's working with Clint Hurt, who, in my estimation, is the best defensive line coach in the NFL, or certainly among the best defensive line coaches in the NFL, who has a long-standing track record of player development. Jordan Davis has really embraced becoming comfortable, being uncomfortable. He deserves a lot of credit in this, and because of that, all the signs are there for him to be able to continue to take steps in the right direction and evolve as a player.
All right, and lastly, I love you, man.
My special teams
Your
MVP.
Special teams MVP.
Look, I could have went Cameron Latu, because let's not forget Cameron Latu had a nice punt block against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Sidney Brown returned it for a touchdown.
We were there and saw in the 95-degree heat.
Right. I could have went with Smile Mondon, who I thought kind of emerged on special teams late in the year, had a quiet start to his rookie campaign in that regard. But I went with Will Shipley, the Eagles' third-year running back.
You love
and
him,
I'm not
man.
necessarily looking at it through the lens of kick return, because Will didn't exactly take the ball and run with the opportunity last season, just averaging 26.8 yards of return. When the league is skewing the return game to really highlight and promote explosive plays, the Eagles, they've tried Will Shipley. They had John Mechie III. They had Tank Bigsby. They had A.J. Dillon. They rolled out a lot of players. Xavier Gibson.
Yeah, they traded for him.
So I'm not looking at it necessarily from that angle. I'm looking at it in terms of the coverage. And he's a core 4 player. He's a personal protector on punt, which means your communication has to be at a very high level. Otherwise, that can lead to punt blocks and things like that. And he tied with Cooper DeJean with 8 tackles. And look at his snaps, 245. Cameron Latu had 257. Smile Mondon had 44 more snaps than Will Shipley, and Will missed 2 games. So there's a pathway for him creating more opportunities for himself to actually make this a possibility. They also lost Kylan Granson and Sidney Brown, 2 players who were in the top 5 of their special teams production. We'll have to see. I mean, Cameron Latu's on the bubble. You know what I mean? So there's a pathway.
He's a special teams MVP. Cam Latu, Will Shipley, you're the best.
Look, I make sure I shine a light on every corner of the roster.
Damn right.
That's my responsibility, and I take great pride in that. So that kind of factored into my decision making there, knowing that there's going to be more snaps available. You're losing 2 key players in the coverage units. Jeremiah Trotter Jr. already broke out 18 tackles, led the Eagles in special teams tackles last season. So, process of elimination, more or less.
Does youth bother you on this roster?
No, because I feel like we've had this conversation the last 2 years.
I keep waiting for them to get a little older.
They've been a youthful roster, but they also accent the roster with a ideal blend of accomplished veterans who fit the culture and lead by example. They have players who are younger who played in high-leverage games, whether it be in college or whether it be in the Super Bowl or in a postseason game. So you're taking those experiences and you're building off that, and they have a lot of young players who are on the ascent that are able to guide these younger ones who are just coming in. So the Eagles have a really sound infrastructure, so I don't know that youth would ever be an issue under this regime.
Our man Andrew DeCecco in studio with us for the rest of the show. It is scheduled release day coming up at 9:30. John Kincade has come up with a game for us to do W's and L's. I have no idea how he's doing it.
Me either.
Because the schedule's not out yet. So,
I do not know.
I have no idea how he's doing it. He's going to be
How
Bob
about this?
Barker.
It's much more intelligent than doing the wins and losses of games that will be played
tomorrow
before
morning,
lunch.
6 o'clock, wins and losses.
Much
Can't
more
wait, man.
intelligent.
Can't
Yes.
wait. All right. So, Andrew, we've also been talking about the Sixers. As you can imagine, season comes to an end on Sunday in embarrassing fashion. Another Mother's Day massacre. They get swept. And immediately people want change, right? Fire this guy, fire that guy, trade this guy, trade that guy. And you got one of those things earlier this week when the Sixers decided to part ways with Daryl Morey. And so yesterday, we asked our audience, what is the first order of business that the next president of basketball operations should do? And your three options were trade Embiid, or try to trade Embiid, try to trade Paul George, or run it back. As you can imagine, run it back got the least amount of votes. It did get 8%. I was surprised that it got 8.
Okay.
That's a little surprising.
But it got 8%. 22% said Paul George. So 70% of our audience said Embiid. Trade Embiid. Like, they're done with him. And, hey, hand raised. I love the guy. I've finally come to terms they're never going to win anything with him. Even when he has the great 3-game stretch against Boston, he's hurt for game 1 and is unavailable for game 2 in the next round. So it's just the way it is, and that had nothing to do with the appendectomy, right? Like, there was a whole other issue because he's 7'2". His body doesn't respond to multiple games in multiple days. It just doesn't work. So I finally come to terms with that. And a lot of people, out of emotion, I think, came to terms with that as well. They don't realize how trades in the NBA work. You can't trade Joel Embiid for 5 prospects, right? It's
not this version of Joel Embiid.
No, but it's not like Major League Baseball, whereas Paul Skeens is eventually going to get traded from the Pittsburgh Pirates, and the Pirates will get 10 prospects, 3 top 50 prospects, you name it. Like, it's going to be something crazy. In basketball, you have to make the finances work. Joel Embiid is due $57 million this upcoming season. This is the first of his 3-year extension. He's going to make $62 million the next year after that, and then $67 million in year 3. You have to get rid of this contract. You have to. I've reached that point where you have to get rid of it. What people don't realize is you have to take on another contract that is similar to it.
Yeah, you have to absorb it somehow.
They think that you can just trade Joel Embiid to a young team and get like 2 young players back in return. No, the $15 million that those 2 young players accumulate does not make this work. You have to take on another bad contract, and people don't know that. Like, they aren't, and I'm saying this in a respectful way, they're not educated on it because they just don't know it. And the NBA is confusing between bird rights and mid-level exemptions. And
I think fantasy basketball and fantasy sports really clouds the perception or the reality.
Or NBA 2K, like, I can make this trade. Like, why not? And so one of the things we're trying to inform people on today is they're not getting Giannis for Embiid. Like,
even though that seems to be the popular answer.
I know it is.
It's not, but it's not the
It's
answer.
wishful.
Yeah, it's not happening.
It's not happening. They're not trading for Giannis. Joel Embiid's contract is per NFL or NBA Live, but regardless of who you are.
Though they said it's the worst because it's just starting and it's the biggest amount of money on the books.
It's arguably the worst contract in the NBA. So if it's the worst contract in the NBA, do you think other teams are saying we want that? Like,
they're certainly not saying sign me up.
We're going to trade you top dollar for the worst contract in the NBA. That's not happening.
No.
So we're trying to tell people what the most likely scenarios are, and there's 3 of them as of right now.
And we got Mr. Logical with us, so this is perfect for this.
Jake Fisher, who does a great job covering the NBA, he's a local guy, but he does it nationally.
Yeah, he does a great job.
He said maybe Sacramento. Embiid goes to Sacramento. The Sixers get Domantas Sabonis back. Option 2, Embiid goes to Golden State. They're trying to do one last hurrah with Steph Curry. Joel Embiid goes out there. You get Jimmy Butler in return. What people are getting caught up on is the names. Like, Domantas Sabonis isn't as good as Joel Embiid. Correct. Why would I trade for a lesser player? Jimmy Butler's coming off of a torn ACL. Why? He's not going to help us win. That's not the point. The point is getting rid of this contract as quick as possible. So Sabonis has 2 years left on his deal. Embiid has 3, so you just subtracted it by 1. Jimmy Butler has 1 year left on his deal. So you're subtracting it by 2, but you're probably adding like a first-round pick in that deal.
Yeah,
to get rid of the contract.
I don't know that I like that. I would probably go with a DeMontis Sabonis.
Okay.
And with the full understanding, I mean, we all know this. He's not an equal talent, but it's about taking a couple steps backwards in order to propel forward. And the Sixers right now are really restricted in terms of what they can do. But you can't status quo can't be in the equation here. They clearly need to make some it's hard to say wholesale changes because they really can't.
Yeah.
But they have to make some dramatic changes, and that's not going to be easy, but you have to be able to show some willingness to try and move this thing forward, because
if the
you
answer
can't keep going around the carousel here.
If the answer to the question is, do you believe Joel Embiid can win a championship in Philadelphia? If the answer is no,
I don't believe that he can.
Then what's the next move? Then move on from him, right? Like that to
Well,
me
the reason
is,
why I don't believe that he can is because you have to play every other day in the
right.
postseason.
But what people are so upset
For like
about
2 months.
People,
Yeah.
the thing that people are upset about is, well, I'm not going to win with DeMontis Sabonis. You're not going to win with Embiid either. So at least remove 1 year from the contract. Option C, keep Joel Embiid, has now taken the lead, John.
I can't believe it. I think Ray Dunn has come up with either his cult members are up this morning. I can't believe it.
36.5%.
So really, honestly, is this split like 30? Is this like split third?
So 36.5 for keep Embiid, 34.4 for the Sabonis package, where you're not adding the first round pick.
But still, there's another 30 that are like
29% say Embiid and a first for Jimmy Butler. The majority of people are saying, well, I don't like those other two options, so I may as well
telling you, the stupid process destroyed the basketball IQ of this fan base.
I can't believe it's really leading the poll right now.
Dude, I knew,
literally leading the poll right now.
I knew it was going to happen. The amount of crap I caught from people online yesterday that don't know how trades work in the NBA.
And Andrew's never online.
I'm telling you, the process lowered the IQ of the basketball. This used to be such a basketball town, and it just lowered the IQ. People are still going to just hold on with their fingernails to this could still potentially work out.
Well, it's not even that they think it's going to work out. They think that Embiid can get them a better return.
They don't. But he's just not paying attention.
He's an older player. Injuries have mounted throughout his career.
He's going to make $67 million.
And you have to look at the financial ramifications as well. There's just too many reasons. Why would you sign up for that if you're another team? It's going to be like pulling teeth.
Yes.
So you have to temper your expectations. But it is necessary, at least in my estimation, in order to move forward as a franchise.
The highest average salaries right now in the NBA. All right. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is the number one highest average annual salary.
Wait a minute. Could you trade Embiid for Shai? Are you telling me Shai's on the table? I want that deal.
He's the MVP of the NBA. Devin Booker is second. Phoenix can't wait to get out of that one. All right. Jason Tatum is third. That guy's an NBA champion. Joel Embiid is fourth in terms of the highest average annual contract. There are 2 NBA champions ahead of him and one other bad even though Devin Booker's a good player, Phoenix is a mess. And then Anthony Davis is the one next to Joel Embiid.
Oh, my gosh, that's so bad.
Glass man.
Those contracts are horrific.
Now, the thing is, though, those contracts don't extend as long as Embiid knows.
That's the biggest problem. Embiid has 3 years left. Why you're not going to get anything back in return.
Where does Paul George rank on that?
For average,
Paul
Paul
George
George
got 2
is,
years left, too.
Paul George is down on the list for average. He's down there pretty far.
That wasn't a great contract either.
No, it's not. But he's
It's
only
incredible.
got 2 years left. Guys,
They're severely
handcuffed.
Yeah.
So
restricted.
Cliff on our on Twitter says, "Well, how about Zion? Like this is where we're at, right? Like
You know what, though? Now, wait a minute. That could be a conversation.
Yeah.
That could be a conversation. That's logical.
He's got 2 years left on his
New
deal.
Orleans wanting to maybe say, we can't do this anymore.
And you see what happens.
Joel
cannot-
Embiid and Gumbo.
We
Perfect
cannot
mix.
see him stuff another Oreo in his face down here in New Orleans. Let's get rid of him. Bad.
Guys, you're not getting a good return. Come to terms with it.
That's where the Sixers are right now.
And clearly, people are coming to terms with keeping Embiid for another year, John. I knew this was going to happen.
I
love
can't
it.
believe he's right on this.
I love it.
I did not expect it.
I am stirring the pot in the city of Philadelphia today. I love it. All right, coming up next. We react to some of the official games that are on the schedule for the Eagles, but also some leaks. Does travel really matter all that much? Is that something that's made too much of? Andrew DeCecco can answer that question for us next here on The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Time for change. I'm Austin Jones with your Fanatic Sports Update. The 76ers made the decision to relieve President of Basketball Operations Daryl Morey of his obligations. And while he signed Joel Embiid and Paul George to some major contracts, and they're subjected to trade rumors due to potentially the Sixers wanting a new era. Sam Alstrade from The Score was on Middays with Marks yesterday, and he said NBA teams do take risks on big contracts.
We've seen huge contracts be moved in this league, and people will tell you all the time, oh, it's too big to move. Someone always takes a chance. There's always desperate teams out there. You just have to find one, and I think the Sixers will sooner than later.
That's going to be up to Bob Myers and Josh Harris, as they're going to be set to speak to the media today at 4 o'clock. So tune into Unfiltered on 97.5 The Fanatic right here, as we'll carry the press conference. Up in Boston, the Phillies fell to the Red Sox 3-1, as Kyle Schwarber was unable to extend his home run streak, and Boston's Ceddanne Raphael pinch hit 2-run home run in the sixth took the game over. Today is a battle of old friends as Jesus Luzardo toes the rubber versus former Philly fan favorite Ranger Suarez. First pitch is going to be 6:45. And in the NFL, the schedule release is going to take place today at 8 p.m. You can, of course, pay attention to all the leaks that are going to take place beforehand. But if you want to watch the show, 8 o'clock on ESPN. So far, the Eagles are going to play in Thanksgiving. These updates also are brought to you by the Crohn's and Colitis the Foundation. The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation has been led by inflammatory bowel disease for more than 50 years.
All right, it's 8:30 here on Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. We'll tell you some of the games that are official on the Eagles' schedule, some rumored ones as well, and then we'll talk about the travel and how much that is actually a factor for teams. But we also started something new on the show today. Andrew DeCecco in studio with us, as he is every single Thursday. We will normally be doing this on Wednesdays, but Daryl Morey getting fired kind of changed the way we had to operate the show yesterday. We will do a weekly debate day where we ask our audience to send in the most recent thing that they've been debating with their buddies. Could be sports, could be movies, could be shows, could be food, could be how to handle yourself in public, how you dress, all this kind of stuff. And so we're asking people to send in the most recent thing they've debated with their friends and family. So what do we got, Austin? Have others come in at 610-632-0975 on the Davis Honda text line, where you can feel the Davis difference by checking them out in Burlington.
Yes, they have, and this one's actually a good one for a football guy, Andrew DeCecco. This is from Marcelo in Levittown. Me and my friends went through who wore it best, numbers in the NFL, from the 00 Jim Otto all the way to 99. But the question we were debating is, who wears the best 99? Aaron Donald, J.J. Watt, Warren Sapp, and if you're an Eagle, well, you know Jerome Brown wore that here.
Wayne Gretzky. For God's sakes, Wayne Gretzky.
NFL, John, NFL.
I know, but still.
Yeah, but Aaron Judge is Major League Baseball.
Yes, exactly.
Well, they're doing NFL, guys. I don't know what to tell you.
Well, but they're
bringing Aaron Judge. You said Aaron Judge. Yeah, Gretzky.
No, Aaron Donald.
Oh, Aaron Donald. I thought you said
Wayne Gretzky.
Judge.
Wayne Gretzky's 99. Remember, there wasn't these 99s. Wayne Gretzky's 99.
All right, football, it's Aaron Donald.
Aaron Donald,
first ballot Hall of Famer.
I was hoping it was going to be a movie debate because I've been getting in some movie debates lately. Marty Supreme, I love that movie. But it seems like a lot of people don't like it.
I love that.
But no, I would say Aaron Donald.
Do we have any non-sports ones?
Yeah, we're going right back to the food. The typical is a hot dog, a sandwich.
Come on.
Oh, jeez.
Can we do something? Look, if we're going to do this, we got to do this right.
Yeah, we're not doing that.
We got to do this right. If we're going to do
That's
this.
played out.
Like, did you actually debate that with your buddy at the bar the other day? Like, nobody debates that.
Yeah.
Like, I need better stuff. All right. Like, if we want to do this every single week, we want to settle your debates. Everybody argues all the time.
And
so
nobody's debating that stupidity.
Right, I'll give you another one here. No name on this text, but they were debating the most difficult thing in sports to do individually, though. Is it hitting a baseball, blocking a penalty kick, scoring a hockey goal? And they also said a tennis ace is also pretty difficult.
Hitting a baseball is by far the hardest thing.
Really?
Yeah, the reaction time, round ball, round bat, the movement of a ball.
Hand-eye coordination.
Scoring a hockey goal, you have to tell me how you do that on skates at an NHL level. You're doing it on skates.
Yeah.
And you're trying to score a goal.
That's how that works.
Yeah, but you can't. That's something you can't. That part of it is not.
But they've been doing it their whole life. I mean, like the game is played on ice, so it's always going to be a factor. Whereas in baseball, you're trying to navigate 100-mile-an-hour fastball.
Yeah.
And
while also being ready for a slider or a curve or sweepers nowadays, change-ups.
And you're adjusting on the fly and trying to make that hand-eye coordination work. I mean, I think I see where you're coming from because I was torn between the two, but I think hitting a baseball.
I'm not necessarily answering for, like, the common man. I'm talking about, like, the professional athlete. Like, I don't know. Like, baseball is such a hard sport. It's such a hard round ball, round bat. That alone is number one.
It is, though, the one where the least athletic people can succeed.
Sure.
Of the pro sports.
But the most athletic person might not be able to hit a baseball.
And that could be. That's where this comes in. That's coming in. Like we had it with the auto racing the other day where I don't believe auto racing is a sport. Like I don't believe it's athletic to drive a car.
I disagree.
I think it is a skill. I think it's an amazing skill, by the way.
You have to be conditioned to do that.
Oh, no, you do. But it's not, and I don't think it makes you an athlete. I think there's a lot of guys in the gym that are very strong, that aren't athletes.
There's a lot of people who can drive a car fast. You have to be able to be conditioned.
I do that every morning at 4:00. All right. We'll continue to do more debates. But come on, no more hot dog sandwich. Like, let's go.
We're not doing that.
It's 2026. Let's improve upon
1997.
This. Come on, man.
Exactly.
This is the people need to send these in. All right. Official game so far: Eagles in London against the Jags, week 5. As John so astutely pointed out, that means they have the bye week, week 6.
If you go by, unless the NFL changed the rules, yes, they'll have
Which,
the
by
bye
the
week,
way,
week 6.
they might because
I hate that, by the way.
There's so many.
You don't like the early?
No. I don't like.
It worked out for him.
Greatest week 5
I don't
bye
like
in the history of the
I don't
NFL,
like 12
man.
weeks, 12 games after the bye. I'm just sort of like 12 games after 5 games before. I'm not really.
Yeah, but when you realize that Jalen Hurts can't throw the ball 40 times the first 4 games of the year, you then have the meeting and you go, hey, our best way of winning is by handing the football off to Saquon Barkley.
Or it's a new offense. It takes some time. You're able to look at it, take stock in what works, and
what do they call it? Self-scouting week? Is that what Nick calls it?
Self-scouting. And when you're talking about changes that are this drastic, you may need a week to catch a breather and be like, okay, this is what's working. Let's implement this. Let's take some of what we saw in week 2, and you know what I mean. You might need to do that. It's not going to be the same offense that they've grown accustomed to running.
Right. The other official game, Thanksgiving, week 12 against the Cowboys, and then there's 2 reported games.
How do you think about that, by the way?
What's that?
The Thanksgiving game.
As a beat writer, I don't like it. It was a punch to the gut.
Yeah, because you have to leave.
But yeah, I mean it's football. It's going to be on prime time, so you look at it. I'm looking at it through the lens of a reporter. You get more eyes on your work. There's always 3 games on that day. The Eagles are always going to be a team that's going to be in high demand. Fans travel well. There's a lot of attention. They're always in contention for playing for a Super Bowl. So yeah, I think it's a good thing for the franchise.
By the way, they opened up as 1.5-point underdogs in that game.
You mean it all the way in late November?
You can bet on that game right now. Oh, by the way, they opened up as 1.5-point favorites against the Jags. Lock it in now.
Well, I just think I look at that game and I said to myself, there is a huge advantage. I was telling Andrew the other day, I said, I'll take that as an advantage. You don't have to play the first week of October in 95-degree temperatures in Jacksonville. And Jacksonville was a really interesting, fun team last year that is on the rise. So I'll play them on a neutral field any day when it's not going to be 100 degrees.
Yeah,
potentially to be an issue.
Yeah, traveling is going to hamper both teams. That's never ideal. But I also look at it from the other angle, and the NFL continuing to grow the game. I think that's a really good thing. There's going to be a good turnout. Eagles fans, wherever I've gone, they travel really well. And you go to in Tampa last year. Look out through the press box.
Oh my gosh.
There's more green than there was. Whatever their color is, red, burgundy, whatever you call it.
Pewter and burgundy or whatever, I don't know.
But the case remains is, the point remains that Eagles fans travel well.
Yeah.
And if you have a chance to go to London, definitely take advantage of it and give yourself a few days to really explore the area as well.
So speaking of the travel, the Eagles we know it's going to happen. They are 9th for most miles that will be traveled this season in the NFL. How much of a factor do you believe that actually plays?
A lot. Logistics and having to just alter your approach and your routine. Certain things need to be tailored to accommodate that. I think the Carolina Panthers have the fewest amount of miles traveled projected in 2026. So, yeah, traveling's a big part of it, guys, and I don't know that's really taken into account until you look at the schedule release, but it is something that I imagine teams really look into.
I'll steal it from NFL Live, though, is that they studied they went over the last 5 years. It has not affected the teams that they thought, like when you're saying, oh, this is the worst travel teams, it truly hasn't hurt them as far as their win projection.
Yeah, just so you guys know, last year, the most miles travel was the Chargers, but number 2 and number 3 was your NFC title game.
Yes, exactly.
Rams and Seahawks traveled the 2nd and 3rd most amount of miles last year.
By the way, the Rams are screwed this year again. The Rams have a really bad travel this year too, so it's tough.
It is. It's tough.
Travel can be tough. Travel can be really tough.
Absolutely, yeah. But I'm not freaking out that the Eagles are 9th. I'm not going to start to panic.
And the London thing again, there's no advantage for Jacksonville, because it's the first game. Jacksonville plays those 2 weeks back-to-back in London, but the first game is the Eagles. So there's no advantage for Jacksonville. They're going to travel the same time the Eagles are.
Yeah.
So there's no advantage.
All right, let's go to Nick in North Philly who wants to talk about keeping Embiid. What's up, Nick?
What's going on? What's going on, guys? Good morning.
What are you
How
up to, buddy?
Hey, good morning.
Andrew, I got to tell you, man, you really let me down. After that Boston series, I know the Knicks was disappointing, but you and Connor are my guys on the Joe front. I knew John couldn't wait to do a few, jumping jacks and start the Joe trade talk. But after that series, let me just ask you this: what was your takeaway from like the loss or just the playoff series in general?
The loss to the Knicks?
Just in general, like the playoff run, like your takeaway from
that
just in general,
that
like
winning a first round series, despite how incredible of a feeling it was coming back down 3-1 and beating the Celtics in 7 and breaking that 40-plus year drought of beating Boston, It was ultimately a first round series. So what else was new for the Sixers?
See, I guess I just disagree there. Like that gave me, I know you're like my generation where like grew up with Joel Embiid changing basketball for this city.
Mm-hmm.
So like that win was the most joy I've ever experienced since I've been alive, basically. So like go ahead.
How did he change basketball?
Oh, come on, John. He's the best basketball player this city's seen in the last 20 years.
Okay, yeah, he's the best since Iverson, correct. But I saw basketball players change this city, and the basketball players that I've seen change this city and change that franchise actually made the franchise winners.
Okay, let me ask you this then, right? This offseason, that poll is absolutely ridiculous. You're telling me you would trade – in the NBA, you don't just punt seasons. I understand you can't trade for.
Yeah, wait. The Sixers actually invented punting seasons. What are you talking about?
Let's not revisit. I'm talking about when you're a competitor.
They're not.
Okay. You're telling me a better approach to the next 2 years is just punt 2 years of Maxi's prime. And just trade for Sabonis to eat.
No, you just told me they were a competitor. You told me they were a competitor. They are not a competitor.
Let me tell you what an off season looks like real quick, just to counter and give you a third.
All right, go ahead. Give it to us. I'm all
We're
ears.
listening.
What do we got?
Yep. All right. So obviously, I'm not defending the contract extensions. They're horrible. But my point is, my takeaway from that playoffs was that the Big Four were not the problem. That was my takeaway. My takeaway was this GM and this ownership let this team down. That is what my honest opinion was. I honestly took away, we had no chance of that Knicks series. We gave everything. Maxey led the league in minutes. They played 50 minutes a game in that Boston series just to get over the line. I think winning those 3 games in a row against your longtime rivals is an unbelievably impressive feat.
Let me ask you something, Nick. Do you believe that Joel Embiid's body would be able to hold up in a second and third round series? Because after that comeback against Boston, he gave his all, and we love him for it post-appendectomy. And his body was still not ready for the first game of the second round series, and he missed game 2. That's why you're down 2-0. It's not because of the bench.
That's a fair question. Did you listen to Joe after the post game?
Yeah, he said he feels great.
He felt like it was a successful year.
All I'm saying is that he said it's not his knee, and if it's not his knee, I will live with Joel Embiid. And another thing, I'll just tell you quickly before I go the plan of what I would do. Same 4 guys. You run it back, which I know you guys don't want to hear, but I'm just telling you that's what's going to happen anyway. So these useless trade for Sabonis is just never going to happen. They're going to ride it back with these guys. Now you can try to flip Paul George if you want to do something with the Warriors where you're able to do something like that. Joel Embiid's going to be on this team. So are the other 3 guys, but not value that. It's a deep draft this year. That guy at 22, if you do it right, there's a lot of plug and play starters with this deep draft. There's also a decent amount of free agents. You don't have the cap wiggle room, but there are guys out there, Rui Hachimura, Colin Gillespie, guys that just, if the bench was anything this year, I think that's
I hear you, Nick, but I've been having this conversation for 5 years now, and I appreciate the call, and you're holding on, you're fighting the fight.
He's holding on. He's just holding on for the dream of the guy who saved basketball in the city. For what?
I will say this.
What?
When it finally comes to an end, Nick, I will have a beer waiting for you at the bar, and we will drink it in sorrow
I'm
together.
telling you, going to sit there and just till the last minute, till he finally just admitted. You know what? There was he's too young for Happy Days. But on Happy Days, Fonzie, there was one word Fonzie could not say. Do you know what word it was?
No.
Wrong. He couldn't say he was wrong. He could not just say the words, and he'd go, I was. And that's listening to that call. You just can't admit it.
Yep.
It didn't work. And by the way, to describe the Embiid era in anything like the anything like Iverson or Barkley or Dr. J or anything is just blasphemy. Absolute blasphemy.
All right, coming up next.
Oh.
Andrew DeCecco believes Dontavian Wicks will have a breakout season. You're not alone.
I like that.
I read an article this morning that there's a similar opinion. And it's somebody that we should probably really value because he knows Wicks pretty well and some other top receivers in the NFL.
Ooh.
Explain more coming up next and more reaction on the people wanting Joel Embiid back here on The Fanatic. right, it's 8:52 here on Kincade Salciunas 97.5 The Fanatic. Andrew DeCecco in studio with us. Andrew, you have an article on InsideTheBirds.com where you picked your 3 breakout players that will be recognized nationally. You did one by offense, by defense, and by special teams. Special teams, you had your boy Will Shipley. Defense, Jalix Hunt. And offense, you had Dontavian Wicks. So I read an article from Caden Steele, who writes for NJ.com.
I read the same story. So really good. Very much enjoyed it.
Caden spoke with David Robinson, who has trained wide receivers in the NFL, John. Here's the quote on Dontavian Wicks. He has so much upside. There is a lot of promise and flash in his game that I like. He was really excited to have a new scenery, being in a new offense. He kind of felt that he could do more in the offense that he was with in Green Bay. So he's just happy that he can revamp himself in a new system and prove that he can be that number 2 or number 3 receiver. At one point, he made sure to mention that he was shocked that Green Bay was like, yeah, let's move on from this guy. Robinson has trained Jamar Chase and Dez Bryant, just to name a few wide receivers that he has worked, hand to hand with. And he sees Dontavian Wicks as a mistake for Green Bay to part ways.
Wow.
Well, I also think you have to look at Ryan Mahaffey, who is the Eagles tight ends coach and run game coordinator now, but he oversaw the wide receiver room in Green Bay for 2 years.
Yep.
Sean Mannion had a front row seat to Dontavian Wicks and the Green Bay Packers offense, now the Eagles offensive coordinator. So you have to imagine that they saw enough flashes behind the scenes and on the practice field to suggest that there's more that he can provide that he wasn't able to in Green Bay, which obviously incited the trade, or at least I would imagine their insight was instrumental in orchestrating it.
What is it? Have we not seen, though, just to be devil's advocate, have we not seen in the history of the NFL a lot where guys who were secondary or tertiary wide receivers go somewhere else to take that next step up the ladder, and they go and then they tend to not take that leap? Or am I just have a bias in my head that I haven't seen it happen a lot and I'm just not remembering that?
I mean, it actually has happened here. I know it's not a name that if you're an Eagles fan you want to hear, but James Thrash was a backup wide receiver for the Washington team, and he ended up with one of the years he had over 60 catches for 800 some yards. I mean, and that was him as a number 1. He was miscast, but that's neither here nor there. It can happen if you're in an offense that's going to take advantage of your skill set and put you in those positions. Route concept, spacing, all these things really play into it. And he's entering an offense that really should favor a player with his skill set, being able to separate. You notice a common theme that you hear it from Nick Sirianni or Howie Roseman. Mekhi Lemon, elite separator. Dontavian Wicks can separate at the top of routes. Devontae Smith is one of the best route runners in the NFL. Those are qualities that will translate, but also something that should really help this offense.
And clearly the Eagles value him because they gave him a decent amount of money.
Right.
And a 2-year deal locking him down, too.
They value him financially.
And you know what? Had he not run a 4.62, and I don't view it that way because you shouldn't be predicated – where you get drafted shouldn't be predicated on how fast you run a 40. But if he ran a little bit faster than a 4.62, he's not drafted in the 5th round. His tape coming out of Virginia was certainly good enough to be a day 2 selection.
All right, 9 o'clock hour ahead. Coming up at 9:30, John Kincade has his version of W's and L's. Even though the schedule has not been released yet, he has some game that he's going to have Andrew and I play. And I have no idea what's coming, neither do you. So we'll find that out at 9:30. Coming up next, we'll continue this Embiid conversation. Somebody is offended on our YouTube chat.
Uh-oh.
And I made sure to say when I talked about this from the beginning that I mean it respectfully. We'll discuss more coming up next. Kincade Salciunas 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Time for change. I'm Austin Jones with your Fanatic Sports Update. The 76ers made the decision to relieve Daryl Morey of his obligations as president of basketball operations. Joel Embiid and Paul George are signed to some big, hefty contracts and have been subjected to trade rumors, despite those contracts being very high. Sam Ostry from The Score was on Middays with Marks yesterday and said NBA teams definitely do take risks on big contracts.
We've seen huge contracts be moved in this league, and people will tell you all the time, oh, it's too big to move. Someone always takes a chance. There's always desperate teams out there. You just have to find one, and I think the Sixers will sooner than later.
You just have to find one. Well, Bob Myers has to find the right president of basketball operations, as him and Josh Harris are going to be speaking to the media today at 4 o'clock. So make sure you tune into Unfiltered, as we will carry the press conference live right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. Up in Boston, the Phillies fell to the Red Sox 3-1 as Kyle Schwarber was unable to extend his home run streak. And on the other side, Ceddanne Raphael's pinch hit 2-run home run in the 6th took the game over. Today is also a battle of old friends. Jesus Luzardo versus Ranger Suarez. They're going to be on the mound today. First pitch is going to be set for 6:45. And in the NFL, the schedule release is going to take place tonight at 8 p.m. on ESPN or NFL Network. The Eagles are already playing in London and on Thanksgiving. I'm Austin Jones, your home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union, 97.5 The Fanatic, and the Fanatic app.
Into earlier today on Kincade Salciunas.
What is it that you want to do? Embiid to Sacramento for 2 years of Sabonis, and it's a pretty even trade. Embiid to Golden State for 1 year of Jimmy Butler, but you're going to have to throw in the sweetener of potentially a first-round pick. Or lastly, you just keep Embiid all together and you try to make it work again. So if you trade Joel Embiid to Golden State, you're getting 1 year of Butler in return. The problem for a lot of people is the Sixers will most likely have to throw in a sweetener, and let's just use this upcoming NBA draft's first-round pick for the example. Embiid and the first-round pick that you have via Houston to Golden State for 1 year of Jimmy Butler's contract. It's not 1 year of Jimmy Butler, the player. It's eliminating Embiid's contract by 2 years.
You cannot have pie-in-the-sky, ridiculous conversations about Embiid. Why wouldn't Milwaukee consider Embiid? You got people doing this. It's just this.
By the way,
they would have the Milwaukee Bucks yesterday, and I'm stealing this from NBA Live. There are 17 teams that could fit Giannis.
Yes.
Where do you believe the Sixers would come up with one of the most attractive packages if Joel Embiid's the lead thing?
It wouldn't be Embiid.
Like, seriously.
It would be Maxey, or it would be VJ Edgecombe.
They're not getting rid of Giannis for Embiid.
It's not for Sabonis. It's for his contract.
It's for freedom.
Dude, my mentions were on fire yesterday.
Oh, no, it was crazy.
Now, back to the show.
Yeah, so we've been talking about this Embiid discussion pretty much all show, because yesterday we ran a poll. Dr. Avidan Appel, Iron Mountain Men's Health. We appreciate him as always, 4 hours strong in the morning. And we asked you, for the next president of basketball operations, what's the first order of business? And 70% of you said trade Joel Embiid. 22% of you said trade Paul George. 8% of you said run it back. So the majority, and vast majority, wanted to trade Joel Embiid. And today we're asking, all right, well, which of these packages would you trade Joel Embiid for? And people are up in arms because they're going, no, that's a bad trade. That's a bad trade. And I just saw a comment on our YouTube chat going into commercial break from Eddie. Stop insulting the fans with people don't understand. And then he continues to say, like, you two aren't so bad at your jobs. You're the ones doing 4 hours on a trade that will never happen. So I love how it's don't be offensive, and yet you're a D-bag about it. As we said earlier in the show, when I say I want to, like, educate people on this, it's out of respect, because the NBA has the most confusing cap structure out of the four major sports. You have max contract slots. If you don't use it, you lose it, right? Like, you can't just be like, oh, I'm not going to use it. I'm not going to use it now, but I'll use it tomorrow. Like, no, you gotta fill up the max contract slot or you lose it. Guys like Bobby Marks, who covered the NBA, who was a former insider, still have a hard time explaining what the second apron is. That's a new thing that's been added to the NBA recently.
And by the way, I'm not ashamed to say to that texter or emailer, I don't understand when Bobby Marks talks. I'm writing stuff down because I don't understand it.
Yes, it is.
It's too much. It's too much for me to understand, and I'm not afraid to admit that I don't understand it.
Now, I will be a jerk back to somebody that says, you don't know basketball. This is a stupid trade. This is worse than having Joel Embiid, when they don't realize the cap implications. And you can't trade Joel Embiid for a young player. You need to make the money work. That's how the NBA trades work when it comes to contracts. It's not like baseball, where let's say the New York Mets hate Juan Soto, and they say, we're going to trade Juan Soto. And the Phillies go, all right, we'll take him on. The Phillies don't have to trade Bryce Harper to make the contract work. They can just take on Juan Soto. And John Middleton just has to shell out more millions, right? Baseball's different. Football's different. You don't have the same strict rules. You have a cap, but it's not like you can only pay X amount of money for 5 players, and then everybody else has to be in a certain area of the money. There's no such thing as mid-level exemptions in the NFL and in the NHL. This is just a basketball thing. So when I say you might have to do this deal with Sacramento if you do want to trade Joel Embiid, and then people get upset that it's Domantas Sabonis, they don't realize that it's not the player that you're trading for. It's the contract that you're trading for. So I try to explain that as much as possible.
It's clear that you're not being a D when you say that, because people are still arguing it.
I'll be a D back to people that are arguing it.
Well, I mean, it's like it's not hard to. It's an
well,
issue.
It is hard because basketball makes it hard, and that's an NBA problem.
Because it's tough. It's tough.
So our question today, because 70% of you, the majority of you, wanted to trade Embiid yesterday. So we gave you 3 plans. Option 1, you do the trade with Sacramento, where you get Domantas Sabonis back. Forget the name. You get a guy with 2 years left on his contract back. That's what I'm saying. Forget the name. Option B, you get Jimmy Butler, but forget the name Jimmy Butler. You get a 1-year contract in return. Problem is, you're going to have to probably add a first-round pick in that.
You are.
So that you can eliminate 2 years of Embiid's contract, who's going to be making $67 million in 3 seasons. Option C, well, I don't like those, so let's just stick with Embiid. And John, it has now climbed up to 38% of our voters would rather stick out the 3-year contract of Joel Embiid than eliminate 1 year of it or eliminate 2 years of it. 38% say keep Embiid. 34% say the Sabonis deal. 27% say the Butler deal.
I'm floored.
Are you? You're surprised. I'm not.
I'm absolutely surprised because when you proposed this today and we knew we were going to talk about this, I thought for sure he was off, that this was going to fall flat and it was going to be lopsided.
And that's why I say, for those of you who don't understand.
You underestimated it.
No, I did not. I said, this is not going to, there are not going to be people out there that are going to think like this. I was wrong. Completely. See, it's easy to say it. You can say it. I was wrong. You can say it. I was wrong. Like all you process people that refuse to admit it. I was wrong. Wrong.
The reason.
Purse your lips and go, wrong.
The reason why I say people don't understand, and I'm not saying it in a disrespectful way, is because unfortunately.
Well, when you say it slow, you're saying it disrespectfully. When you go,
because now I'm annoyed. They're not getting Giannis for Embiid. They're not getting a star player in return.
What do you mean, man?
Why would you not?
If this was 3 years ago, the conversation would be completely different. The problem is he's turning 33 years old. He has not played more than 40 regular season games in 3 years, and he's going to be getting paid the fourth highest contract in the entire NBA, and two of the guys in front of him are NBA champions.
There you go.
And he's not.
That's an easy one.
That's why. All right. What do we have on the Davis Honda text line? You can feel the Davis difference by checking them out in Burlington. We'll get some more debate day debates. But I wonder, Austin, have more people chimed in on this Joel Embiid discussion?
Yeah, they have, and they've been throwing him all over the place. This is Keith from Atlanta. He said, you can also trade Embiid to a team that has $57 million under the cap. For example, I know the Bulls have the 4th overall pick, but if you're able to swivel them into a future first-round pick, that could help us offload Embiid.
All right, so I'm going to be, again, respectful here. If you are trading Joel Embiid, you're not winning any deal. So you're not getting a future first. Did he say get a future first-round pick for Embiid?
He said get a future.
You're not getting that.
No. You might be giving up
you have to give
future
one
first-round pick because you're trying to get rid of all this money. Now, I knew somebody would come with that take today.
Why?
Hey, there are teams that have the money available. If Embiid was 1 year left on this deal,
they might
do that, and they get a pick out of it. He's got 3 years left. What is if Chicago is trying to rebuild or Memphis is trying to rebuild? Because I know the Grizzlies are another team that people would probably point out. Why would they bring on Joel Embiid for 3 years?
No point.
There is none. Literally no point.
You can see, look, Andrew's really passionate about this.
I am.
He's twitching.
Because
twitching.
And then somebody might say, well, then why would Sacramento do it? Because they have a bad contract of their own. That's why.
And by the way, Washington just won the lottery. The last thing they want to do is go, all right, well, we just won the lottery. We're going to get the best player in the lottery, and now we're going to take on the crappiest contract in the NBA.
Yeah, no, none of that's...
They're not doing that.
The teams with the most money are not taking on 3 years of a contract. 1 year, maybe.
Yes,
that's literally what the Sixers did during the process. They would take on that final year of the deal and then just unload the money. 3 years is different.
I just did that in 2K last night.
There you go.
I sent Joel to the Lakers. I said, have fun.
And that's a part of this, too. And it's so weird you say that because that's one of the things that Eric says. Eric said in our DMs. He says the same thing. A lot of the people who are coming up with these scenarios with Joel Embiid have played too much NBA 2K. They're just playing video game sports. They're not going, well, this is really, you got to find somebody who's really going to do this.
Yeah, because I can go to NBA Trade Machine and I can do Joel Embiid for Kevin Durant. And the Trade Machine will tell me that works. That doesn't mean that the Houston Rockets are saying, yeah, we want Joel Embiid for Kevin Durant. Trade successful. The money works.
Right.
NBA 2K, it might work. But do the Houston Rockets want Joel Embiid for Kevin Durant? No. That's the point of all this. You are going to lose any trade. All right? The win is getting rid of 1 or 2 years off of his contract. Which is why I'm not surprised that more people are voting than just keep him because they don't want to hear you lost a trade. They want to hear that you won the trade or you might as well stick it out and you hope that you can win with Joel Embiid. But We've already come to terms that that's not happening. So why not just try to speed up the process, guys?
Oh, just stay away from the word process.
Yeah,
please.
I know. I'm sorry.
Stop it.
All right, what else we got on the text line?
All right, this is from Lou. He says you have to move Embiid for multiple reasons. Number one, changing the culture. He's the last of the process mentality. Number two, allowing Maxey and VJ to reach their potential. That can't happen as long as Joel is within the locker room. And three, it's just tiresome for the fans. Even though it's not all his fault, he can't stay healthy, and we've been teased by his ability for way too long.
Yeah, I mean, look, we had our caller, Nick, and I love him. I feel bad for him, but I love him. We had our caller, Nick, that said Game 7, beating the Celtics, was the best moment of his basketball fandom life. And, man, you saw how it all came together. And then what happened the very next game?
Best moment of his basketball life was winning a first-round series.
The very next game, Embiid's body was so broken down from that comeback. Because if you remember, going back to the beginning of the season, our man Tony Jones, who we've had on twice this week, Tony knew what the plan was for Embiid. No back-to-backs, nothing new, and would never play 3 games in 5 days.
Yeah.
There's no back-to-backs in the playoffs, but there's 3 games in 5 days. And you saw what happened. He played the 3 games, 5, 6, and 7, played really well, and his body was not recovered enough for game 1. He looks like crap. So does the rest of the team. It's so bad they say, let's not even play him in game 2. They fight hard, but they lose. Now you're down 2-0 in the series because of a guy's body that's breaking down again.
And then when he's not available, you're dependent on Tyrese Maxey.
Playing 100 minutes.
And Tyrese Maxey can't be the driving force to a team, the centerpiece.
I am fired up.
He's an accessory. Look at you.
My veins are I just checked out YouTube. I got veins popping out of my neck and my forehead right now because I'm getting so frustrated.
Yeah, you're hyperventilating.
Well, it is. It is. It's just. I can't believe this went this way. I just can't believe it. It's like the story that won't end. It's just the story that won't end.
But yet these are the same people that when we're sitting here next year, they're going to be complaining that Joel's not healthy for hopefully another playoff run.
That's yes.
Like, so which one is it?
No, but they'll also be the biggest defenders of it. They'll also be the biggest defenders saying, well, don't blame. They'll be the biggest defenders of don't blame Joel. The reason that I sort of want this to go to is the fact that he was, for the second consecutive year, his teammates had to go to management to have players-only meetings because of his unprofessional behavior. That's part of the reason why I hope this goes down, because I'd really like to have a team full of professionals, guys who actually come to work, understand what it means to be part of the team, understand what it means to show up for meetings, understand what it means to meet their obligations when they're being paid $60 million a year. That guys like Maxey and them don't have to go, hey, we're having a team meeting to talk about this guy that can't do the right things again.
Well, that
kind of
brings me.
That's what I'm tired of.
That brings me a question I'd like to ask to Checo, because he's our resident Eagles guy and he's always in the locker room. So, Andrew, when you hear these things that, there's guys that are missing meetings and, not able to get to practice on time, what have you, obviously basketball is always going to be different than, football. But just within a locker room, how can that offset the mood within the locker room from the other guys?
Yeah, well, the Eagles don't have that problem because they have a pristine culture. But what I can tell you, Austin, there's been players years past under Andy Reid, whether it was Deshaun Jackson. I think there was a time where maybe it might have been Correll Buckhalter or something that they had to sit down for a quarter or something for tardiness. It's so important to make sure that you're upholding, the rules that are in place.
Oh, Jalen Carter just last year.
Yeah, you're right, Jalen Carter. But by and large, this Eagles regime haven't had to face some of these challenges that Eagles teams in years past have, or you see it around the NFL as well. But it's very important that you have those guidelines in place. You treat everyone the same because you can't let certain players kind of dictate what they're doing, because the optics are bad. It leads to poor morale, and you just can't have that.
Brendan Gunn texted into our group chat. And B. Gunn says, those Twitter poll results for keeping Embiid tell me that people have just accepted defeat with the Sixers. And they think they're never going to win no matter what. So you might as well keep a franchise legend here, build his legacy to the max as a Hall of Famer, because that's as close to winning as this team will ever get.
Well, and yesterday...
And I love to tell him he's wrong, but I can't tell him he's wrong.
Yesterday, Andrew, when we had our man Tony Jones on, I basically asked him, hey, what led to the firing? Like, what was, the official, did he go into the meeting with Josh Harris and say, I can still make this work with these guys, with Embiid and George and Maxey and Edgecombe? And Tony was like, well, just so you know, I don't know if it was a guarantee that Embiid would have been back with Morey. And part of my antennas go up going, wait, so does the organization want Embiid back? Did Morey say, I'm going to try to trade Joel Embiid this offseason, and the organization said no? To Brendan Gunn's point.
Right.
Does the organization look at it that way too? Hey, if we're not going to win now after whatever trade they're going to do just to get him off the books, why not try to beef this guy up a little bit more and talk about Sixers legend Joel Embiid?
And sell tickets.
Honestly.
And sell tickets. Hoping that that's the night that he's going to play.
And as our man Embiid
what night does he decide he wants to play? What night does he decide he's got a tummy ache or he's not going to show up for work? Like,
well, I can't answer.
Like,
but
what night's
like,
that? What night is that coming?
You got a coins flip chance of seeing him live in person.
MBD in our YouTube chat says, Chunas, you're thinking in basketball terms. Maybe the ownership group, who are business people, look at it from business terms. Trading for Domantas Sabonis does not scream, come see the Philadelphia 76ers.
Right.
Having Joel Embiid may get people to come see the Philadelphia 76ers. I hope that's not the case.
No,
see, my counterpoint would be...
This morning, though, these results tell me differently.
See, my counterpoint is I think people forget, like, how good of a player, when healthy, Sabonis is. Like, he's not an actual... like scrub. He's a guy that could actually fit in with VJ and Maxey, right?
No, I like him. But, like, again, you're not winning a championship with Sabonis, but you're not winning a championship with Embiid in at least once 2 years versus 3.
No, exactly. As long as Sabonis isn't getting his chest caved in by Draymond Green, we'll be okay.
Yeah.
I mean, these results, though, tell me that with a large portion, they're like, no, John, you're the one who's wrong here. You're the one who's out of touch.
By the way,
this is how we believe it.
It is now up to 39.5%. We are reaching close to 40% of our voters saying that they'd rather keep Embiid than try to make a trade to knock off at least 1 or 2 years of his deal.
Well, I think when you look at the reality of the situation, I imagine that there are many who are like, just keep him, I guess.
Well, we're going to lose anyway.
That's and again, I'll blame Ray Dunn. We will blame Ray Dunn. He's responsible, and I put John and Sean on the duty today. Take him out.
They tried yesterday.
They tried. Take him out.
They tried, dude. Here's the thing.
Take him out. He needs to be stopped.
He's becoming short-sighted thinking.
He's a force. He's supposed to be a good force. Like Ray masquerades as this like Boy Scout.
He's a positive force.
Yeah. Yeah, but he's what? He's like it's not today. He's not. It's divisive today. He's creating problems for America's youth today.
Oh.
Ray Dunn leading kids down the wrong path.
It's so hard for me as a Ray Dunn supporter to hear this kind of Ray Dunn slander. And I could tell that it's eating Andrew alive.
If I hear Marks and Brace not take their boy out today, because they tried yesterday, but there's a lot of Ray Dunns out there. The Colt is alive.
By the way, again, and our man Eddie got so upset that I said this.
Eddie don't like that.
I'll say it again because somebody said Sabonis gets hurt just as much as Embiid. First off, that's not true. But second of all, forget the name. Look at 3 years of a contract to 2 years of a contract. That's all you got to look at. Forget that he's Lithuanian. He might be from Uruguay. As long as there's 2 years left on the deal, that's less than 3. And you eventually get that off the books.
It's that much closer to the light.
Exactly. All right, coming up next, John Kincade has the W's and L's games for us.
Yes, we do.
I'm proud of you. That happens next here on The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Time for change. I'm Austin Jones with your Fanatic Sports Update. The 76ers made a decision to relieve President of Basketball Operations Daryl Morey earlier this week. And one issue with the team over the years has been their culture. Tony Jones from The Athletic joined Kincade Salciunas yesterday, and he spoke that there's going to be a new way of things once a new president is elected.
You have to be as much on the same page as possible. And I think it was clear that not everybody has been on the same page, at least this year. So, the new hire that comes in is going to definitely have to deal with that.
Bob Myers and owner Josh Harris are going to speak to the media today at 4 o'clock, so make sure you tune into Unfiltered as they will carry the press conference up in Boston. The Phillies fell to the Red Sox as Kyle Schwarber was unable to extend his home run streak to 6 games. And on the other side, Ceddanne Raphael's pinch hit 2-run home run in his 6th inning took the game over. Today, it's going to be a battle of old friends. Jesus Luzardo versus Ranger Suarez. First pitch is going to be for 6:45. And in the NFL, the schedule release will take place tonight at 8 p.m. on TV. So if you're interested, it's going to be at ESPN. We already know the Eagles are going to play in London, and they're also playing on Thanksgiving. This update's brought to you by the Ream team. Unbeatable savings are now with 0% for 60 months with approved credit on select Ream air conditioners. Hurry to reamteam.com and lock in your savings today. I'm Austin Jones, your home of the Sixers, Flyers, and Union, 97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
dumpster in a bag. You can get yours today at Home Depot and Lowe's. You need details? Go to Bagster.com.
All right, before we do the W's and L's, another comment on the Embiid trade discussion, Johnny. And this one, look, I get it because nobody wants to hear this, especially after we just saw them beat the Celtics. And you're like, man, that was a fun series. Dante on our YouTube chat. Andrew, what else do you do after the trade with the team? Like, where is the point guard? Where is the backup center? Where is the backup three? Talk about that, keeping Embiid out your mouth.
What?
I don't know. I'm kind of confused. If you're trading Embiid, or if you're keeping Embiid, you're not winning next year. All right, like that's not happening.
You're not winning either way.
Now, if you keep Embiid, all right, to our caller's Nick earlier today, sure, this offseason, whoever the president of basketball operations is, can hopefully find a legitimate backup center and a legitimate backup point guard. They don't have a real point guard now, but a point guard that can actually come onto the court and facilitate. I get that it looks like they're close. The problem is they have so much money allocated to three guys right now that they don't have the financial flexibility to acquire these other guys. If you like Kelly Oubre, then that's the majority of your money's going to Kelly Oubre. If you like Quentin Grimes, which I don't, then your money's going to Quentin Grimes. You have the exact same team, the team that just got swept by the Knicks. So if you trade Joel Embiid, you're just kickstarting a mini rebuild. So you're not going to win next year.
You're not.
Like, you might be a playing team.
But
wait,
you
where
understand.
were you this year?
Yeah.
You were a playing team.
A playing team. You're not going anywhere with Embiid. Plus, I don't understand why people, too, won't acknowledge just the unprofessional garbage of Joel Embiid. Why people are making him out to be like some generational. No, he's been a generational pain in the ass for the players that have had to play with him the last 2 years, that have had to have team meetings about him the last 2 years. Like, this story would not be glossed over by anybody, but it's the members of the cult that don't want to acknowledge it. That Tyrese Maxey has to lead team meetings to complain about, hey, we need everybody to be professional in here. We need everybody doing things the right way. And you got a guy like Tyrese trying to do things the right way, and you got the Joel Embiid's going to do things his own way.
It's been 10 years. 12 years since he got drafted, but 10 years of a very similar story. Failed expectations.
Yep.
Coming up short. Say whatever you want about Joel Embiid. It's been 10 years. Like, if this
it's
was
been too long.
If it's been 3 years, fine. It's been 10.
10.
All right, Johnny, what do you got?
All right, I got a game for the two of you. And everybody can play along in their car. And Austin, you can play along too. And this is really easy, so this isn't a very complex game. This is one where I just want you to keep score in your heads, or you guys can keep score on a piece of paper, because I will keep score for you.
Okay.
I want you to look at the W's and L's game of the Eagles' schedule in a totally different way.
Okay.
But there is only one way you're allowed to answer. Okay? You have to be, it is a yes or a no if you're giving the point. Yes or no. There's no middle ground. There's no hemming and hawing. Yes or no. So no, there's just, you got to go black or white. It is Jalen Hurts versus the opposing quarterback. And the question that I ask in every one of the matchups is, do the Eagles have the starting quarterback advantage in the game?
This is going to piss people off.
Okay? So everybody in their car playing along, everybody listening at their desks, the question I'm going to ask you is, do the Eagles have the starting quarterback advantage in the game? You must answer yes or no. There's no, it's 50-50. No. Got to answer yes or no. Jalen Hurts in the two matchups with Dak Prescott.
Yeah, I my immediate answer is no.
No. Because they have lost most of the time to Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
Okay? So you got two no's. You got two no's.
People, and I know immediately people are going to freak out about that.
No,
I mean, it's not. It shouldn't be a controversial.
Right. Shouldn't be controversial. Do the Eagles have the quarterback advantage when they face Jaden Daniels?
I say yes.
I also say yes. So you and I you guys have the same answer that I have right now, which is 2-2. So the matchup is 2-2. When they play Jackson Dart.
For now, yes.
For now, yes. That's exactly my
you
answer.
said for now.
No, no. But for now.
I'm curious to see how with Harbaugh how his.
I'm
game
anxious to
can
see
go.
him develop too, though. But I mean, for right now,
I'm scared.
absolutely.
How about this? I'm scared about his development.
I think the Giants
if
are.
he learns how to stay healthy and not expose himself to unnecessary hits,
right,
and he develops, I mean, he could be a player, but I don't know if he'll reach the Jalen Hurts level.
Okay,
we don't know, but I mean, I absolutely think the Giants have something cooking. Like as an organization, I think the Giants have more cooking than Washington has.
Yeah, the Giants have a lot of structure right now,
right,
and they're heading in the right direction.
All right. Does Jalen Hurts have do you have the quarterback advantage when you play Matthew Stafford?
No.
You answer exactly as I do.
People don't like hearing that.
Do the Eagles have the quarterback advantage when they play Sam Darnold?
Yes.
I agree. All right.
Super Bowl
But
champion
I thought
Sam
this
Darnold.
is different. I understand, but it's 5-3. Do the Eagles have the quarterback advantage when they play Brock Purdy?
Yes.
6-3. Do the Eagles have the quarterback advantage when they play Jacoby Brissett?
Yes.
I say 7-3. All right. I'm shocked because we're all 7-3 right now. We are in complete agreement. Bryce Young.
Yes.
8-3. We are in agreement. Okay. Now, Caleb Williams.
Yes. I'm not there yet with Caleb Williams.
I will go no.
I go no.
Really?
Yeah.
I can't help with Ben Johnson being there too.
Yeah, I'm
Right.
gonna go no.
And Caleb Williams
I
does have
said
the better
no.
arm talent.
Yeah.
He
So
makes some ridiculous
So
throws.
DeCecco gives a yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Andrew
say
goes
yes.
a no. Okay, but it's close. We're all sort of close there. When they play Trevor Lawrence.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
I'm not
Very
a big
good.
Lawrence guy.
When they play C.J. Stroud.
Yes.
Yes. When they play Daniel Jones.
Yes.
Yes. When they play Cam Ward.
Yep.
Yes. When they play supposedly Aaron Rodgers.
Yes.
Yep.
There you go. All right, Andrew DeCecco says they have the quarterback advantage, he believes, 14 out of 17 games. And Andrew Salciunas and I say they have the quarterback advantage in 13 out of the games. Where'd you end up?
The only one I flipped where you guys agreed was Brock Purdy. I said no to Brock Purdy and yes to Caleb.
Okay.
Okay,
so there you go. So but we come up, so Andrew and I come up 13. Salciunas, DeCecco comes in 14. It just goes to show you, I think, that may be a far more valuable exercise to me than any of the stupid one-loss games that are played.
Yeah, but here's the
when the
problem.
schedule comes out.
Here's the problem. Does Jalen Hurts play well against the Houston Texans defense?
It does.
You know, like C.J. Stroud,
But-
I hear you.
But I'm going to also say, conversely, the Eagles defense do these quarterbacks. When you have the quarterback advantage in a game, I would say the team with the quarterback advantage in the game is going to probably win 60% of the time.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of variables that you have to consider. I mean, how's this new look offense? How does it look? How are they taking to it?
I'm
what's
hoping
the,
really
what's
good.
what's the defense that
Right.
they're the defense
Sure.
that they're going against? What kind of challenges do they provide? I mean, it's not as simple as simply having
isn't.
the best talent, the best quarterback on the field, because the Eagles more often than not are going to have that. But that's not the way the game's played. There's other things that are at play. But I did, I see where you're coming
Like
from.
Jalen
See, like, to me, I think I think that is a more scientific way to look at schedule release, where I think it has more value than going WL, WL, WL. To me, I take more out of that to say it makes me feel extremely confident. And Andrew tomorrow has already got the challenge of the game.
It's kind of easy because John's been sending me strength of schedule stuff, and John is locked in now.
I am totally locked in
on the strength of schedule based off of the Vegas win total.
Mm-hmm.
And so
how
the Vegas win total for the Eagles this year is 11.5. And just looking at how John's talking strength of schedule, because the Eagles have what, the sixth easiest?
Fifth
easiest? I said, all right, so that means you're taking the
against
over.
the Vegas odds. Yes,
I said, that means you're taking the over. He said, yes. So
And I
I
already
know,
told him that.
I know that they will have at least 12 wins on John Kincaid's schedule. So what we're doing tomorrow, instead of doing WLWL or me trying to trick him into saying things, I have to find the 5 losses.
So that's his challenge tomorrow. Identify the 5 losses.
If there's 5,
I'm
there could
gonna
be
tell you
less.
this. I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to put them in an envelope in the morning, and I'm going to seal it. I think it's going to be much more difficult than you think to find the 5 losses. But I'm going to tell you right now. and
Both
it's just
Cowboys games.
It's just a preview for tomorrow. The 5 losses, it's 5. The Eagles are going 12-5.
So you already have it locked in, 12-5.
I see 5 losses on the schedule. No, I see
the
5
schedule's
losses.
not even out yet. You're 12-5.
No, I'm going to say is that, well, no, I think with this schedule.
Johnny Sunshine over here.
Could they be a 13-win team? Yeah, they could be. But with this travel schedule and everything like that and some of the opponents, but the Eagles are going to so find me 5 losses tomorrow. They will be sealed. And you know what? I'm going to seal them in an envelope before I even come to work. The envelope will be in the hands of someone that you can't touch it.
All right.
And we'll see how many you can get.
That's what we're going to do tomorrow. Coming up
and
next.
see how many the audience can get, too. Maybe the audience
By
can
the way, a
predict.
lot of 14s and 12s on,
Could happen.
on the
that
YouTube chat. In the
that should make you feel better about Jalen Hurts.
There is
too.
one 2 and 15.
That's terrible. Who's the 2? So
Yeah,
they have them sweeping the Cowboys?
Dr. Sid the Kid, who are the 2 that you have Jalen Hurts better than?
Yeah, I need to know.
Let us know. All right, we'll check the text line coming up next. More on this Embiid discussion and also debate day. We'll round out the show with some of the debates that you have been having with your buddies at the bar, your wife, your friend, whatever, and we'll try to settle them or make it worse. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. right. The poll of the day brought to us by Dr. Ravidan Appel and Iron Mountain Men's Health. Johnny, my job has been done for today because I knew that a lot of people thought that you could get a bag of riches for Joel Embiid. And then they realized, oh boy, we might not be able to get a bag of riches. We gave you 3 options to choose from because these are the most likely options because you're not getting Giannis Antetokounmpo for Joel Embiid. You're not getting Kawhi Leonard for Joel Embiid. You're not getting a bunch of young players, rising players for Joel Embiid. The goal to trade Joel Embiid is to move off of his contract and to subtract it by a year or 2. Option A, Embiid for 2 years of Sabonis. 33.4% of the vote. Option B, Embiid and a first for 1 year of Jimmy Butler. Again, it's not the player, it's the contract. That just got 23.5%. 43% now.
43?
We are getting closer and closer to 50% because this has continued to climb up as the show has progressed. 43% said, you know what, screw that, let's just keep him.
I
love it, man. Job done for today.
I'm honestly,
you guys got the rest of the way.
I am beyond scratching my head.
I told you. Sometimes I read the lay of the land.
I can't. I
proved John
honestly,
wrong.
No, but I didn't think. Now, Andrew, I did not think he was going to be wrong. I thought he was going to be like wildly wrong. Like I thought this was going to come out like 15%.
43.
I'm absolutely floored.
We are reaching now close to, if it continues to go up, because it was 30, then 33, then 35, then 37, 43. There's a chance, John, that half of the audience would rather keep Embiid than trade him for those 2 options because they thought, well, Embiid's going to get you this, right?
I can't believe it.
Told you, man.
I'm floored.
Told you.
I'm absolutely floored. I don't feel smarter having heard it.
Are you look disappointed.
I am. Because
and now, a 7-2 center. Joel, the process, Embiid.
Well, I hope we don't have that anymore. Joel, let's hopefully shows up for this year's meetings on time, Embiid.
Dude, when they do a 30 for 30 or a movie on the whole process, it'll be called Load Management, the story of the decade that was for the Philadelphia 76ers.
It's unbelievable, man.
That's incredible to me.
Ready?
This is truly. This actually now bothers me. I'll be bothered for the rest of the day.
All right, well, I'll make sure to continuously text you every time the percentage continues.
Please don't, because I'm playing golf today.
All right, Austin, it is day 1 of debate day. What have been some of the debates that have been sent in for us to chime in on?
Yeah, so this is from Mike. He says, is it Patrick Swayze a poor man's Kurt Russell, or is Kurt Russell a poor man's Patrick Swayze?
I'll leave it up to you guys.
I love this question.
Kurt Russell is a poor man's Patrick Swayze.
Yeah, I agree with that.
All right.
And I think they both have their advantages. Look, Kurt Russell was great in the movie Breakdown, for example.
Oh, great pull, Andrew. Great pull.
That's a classic from 1997. If you haven't had a chance to watch it, go ahead and check that out.
Are we talking on like acting
Patrick
ability?
Swayze in Roadhouse was exceptional.
Gosh.
He was great in The Outsiders.
Are we talking acting ability? Like this is like acting ability has to come into this, right? I mean, it's that matters. That acting ability.
I like Patrick Swayze's movies better.
They're better movies.
Although I never saw the big one, which is Dirty Dancing. I never saw that.
Wow, it's impressive that you know the Swayze catalog and you haven't watched the Dirty Dancing.
No,
Andrew, if you need another one, it's called Black Dog. If you need one,
yeah,
can I
not the best movie,
but I love Roadhouse so much that just soared him to the top of the list.
I have even more respect for you that you've managed to avoid Dirty Dancing.
Yeah, I'm not gonna
because I made it through like an hour and 10 minutes on a date. I think before like falling asleep.
That's good work, buddy.
Yes, that's good.
All right, what else we got?
Alrighty, he said, this is from Chat in Hatterboro. He said, NASCAR may not be, but F1 is absolutely a sport, and the drivers are definitely athletes. Go and look how they train, more intense than 95% of the athletes out there.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Well, so
take that, John.
Take that, John. I hung out with the NASCAR people. They're athletes.
I've driven
man.
on those courses. I'm ridden on those courses too.
I like these debate things that you guys have.
All right,
that's
what else
good.
we
That's
got?
a nice
I mean,
one.
we need better one. I mean, like, look, this was trial run. This was day one. Hot dog and sandwich. Like, I don't need that. Like, that goes. No hot dog sandwich debates. But what are you debating with your friends? If you're debating hot dog and sandwich with your friends, I'm sorry. Like, you need to find better friends. Like, what are you guys debating at the bar right now? What else we got?
Alrighty, so for some reason you said this one's just strictly for argumentative purposes, but my golf friends and I have a thing for about 10 years in a running argument that says, what would win in a fight, a golf club or a machete?
Machete.
A machete.
Machete.
A machete can slice a golf club in half.
It's a clean sweep for the machete.
Yeah.
That doesn't even make any sense.
Saying golf club.
Who are the dopes that are saying that?
And the last one we got actually for today, this one could go right to Mr. Football himself, to Checo. He said, a recent debate I had was Big Ten football versus SEC football. Which conference is the best now? Big Ten has 3 straight championships, and the SEC is likely deeper with coaches, and Big Ten has another deep pool as well in the coaching aspect. Which conference do you think is better?
This is a tough one, and it's a great one, but I'm going to say the SEC. I just think the competition's greater. You see how they translate to the pro level. The Eagles have obviously explored the SEC prospects in the draft to great success, and as have many teams around the NFL. There's a reason for that, so that's my answer.
There you go. I agree.
Correct answer, too.
And that's why the Eagles
You've
pride
been talking the whole
themselves on
conference.
the SEC.
Now
the
they
whole
do.
Conference.
Yeah,
That is
finally.
the
Yeah,
answer.
finally. That was one of the biggest mysteries. Like, how do you not shop in the SEC when you're drafting? How is that not your first option to look at?
I mean, all you have to do is look at draft night. That tells you who's the best conference in college football. Just go to the NFL draft. Look at the first round and the second round, and then you'll just see who's the best. It's the SEC every single year, and there's a reason for that. That's
right.
the best conference.
Before we get out of here, Middays with Marks coming your way next. Johnny Marks, Sean Brace.
And who's that other guy?
Ray Dunn, who he needs help.
He does need help.
The weather doesn't look great for it, as you've been pointing out. But let's say the game does happen between your fighting Phils and the Boston Red Sox. Who wins the battle of the lefties, Luzardo or Ranger Suarez?
Ranger.
Red Sox, the dogs today. Luzardo and the Phils minus 112 on the money line.
Wow.
Suarez is the Sox are minus 104. They're still minus money, but the Phils are the slight favorite, Johnny.
Well, I think Ranger would make them look like monkeys.
Ranger is just more consistent.
Terrible.
He's just more consistent. You don't know what version of Jesus Luzardo you're getting.
I'll take a more consistent.
Well, his last outing wasn't good, so that means this outing will be good. It's just who is better. Is it Jesus Luzardo or is it Ranger Suarez? All right, everybody have a
Lots
great
of fun
rest
today.
of your day.
Good job, Andrew.
I'm glad I was able to stir the pot for the city of Philadelphia and upset John Kincade. I will be texting John every hour.
I'll
and
be on the
update
golf
the
course.
Twitter
I will not
poll.
be answering your texts.
Middays with Marks comes your next. Andrew, you're the man. Thank you.